Put your glasses on before you strike that arc. Shut the apron tight and clear that floor for sparks. Grind dusting's lungs like sand in the back of your throat. One glove can snag a blade, so keep both hands close. If it kicks, step back. If it binds, let it stop. Check the clamp again and keep your knuckles off the top. Time to do some sketchy shit. Not today, not with this bit. Got on, pride down, keep it fit. Time to do some sketchy shit. Keep it safe. Keep it safe. Keep it safe. Fence stays locked in place when you feed that board. Push with a scrap block. Let the blade eat wood, not more. Long sleeves rolled up clean. No loose strings near the drill. Catch the grain the right way, or it'll twist with will. If it splinters, slow. If it chatters, kill the feed. Stand to the side for the kickback you don't need. Time to do some sketchy shit. Not today, not with this bit. Got on, pride down, keep it fit. Time to do some sketchy shit. Keep it safe. Keep it safe. Keep it safe. Face shield down low when the wheel stops to bite. No phone in your hand, no rush in your side. One bad second can take more than skin. So look twice, breathe slow, then go back Time to do some sketchy shit. Not today, not with this bit. Got on, pride down, keep it fit. Time to do some sketchy shit. Gloves off when they trap. Tie it up, then take it slow. Time to do some sketchy shit and make it home to go again. Keep it safe.
Come on, man. Okay, well, let's see if he joins back in. Would you have some new files? Yeah, let's make sure audio's working. Please tell me audio is working. Okay, we can hear it now. He's back in. So let me bring in Piles. Okay, I still don't have audio from you. It's just me. We do actually have a couple files that are going to show from me while I try to get his audio working.
Can you hear me
Okay,
now?
now you're working. Yes. I got a couple files that we released. Which I get. I've got you on the screen as well. That's throw off my screen thing. We have a lily pad can opener because we're doing a show called The Frog Follies. It's hard to do this as a second person. It takes up a lot of my camera space. But basically can openers that will come over and cover the can. Simple files, but they do sell well for us. That's our latest offering, and for those that, for the one guy who knows what this is, it is coming out soon. That's what we have. The rest of the stream is going to be dedicated to Piled, so let me switch over, and then we will actually allow him to bring up his desktop if he wants. As the
Yeah, I'll
primary.
find that.
So that is okay. Let me bring this in. Find a okay, but that works. That way we're both here. If somebody wants to join in with questions, they are open. I did pin that in the chat, by the way. I will also try to read them here. The primary focus I'd love to see him go over is how it will help the makerspace. Because I was looking at like box creation, and let's be real, 90% of our files that we actually print are simple files. So if we could actually take like a logo, make a maker chip, business card, I said boxes and simple files. I think that's the key of a makerspace, the backbone of a makerspace per se.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
But
nothing that takes forever, because yeah, you can't do like overnight prints out of space or anything
well,
with too many colors or.
you will be able to at mine. That's my favorite, but I
Yeah,
also
but normally, yeah.
but we're looking at like lasered files. We're looking at that's actually what I would look at it for a makerspace.
Yeah, and I do think laser box makers is something where the existing ones aren't that great. So it's that was a big
Laser
motivation.
box maker was I did see the demo on it. Not too much because you a lot of times you're focusing on other things, and I get it. You're focusing on what people are asking for, right? But that looked like a useful utility. You had the Gridfinity because that's single color print. That's actually yeah, some of that is I'm hoping to get you to add my version. We're still finalizing some of the fallouts on it, and we're hoping we can
Yeah,
get
as long
that
as it's not too
going.
crazy.
It's not. It's a variant of the Gridfinity, but it fixes the sizing issue for small toolboxes. Essentially what I did. I'm
Yeah,
calling it Bobfinity because somebody got mad at me for calling it Gridfinity 0.5. It's actually that close to Gridfinity. But I released some files in Dr. Smeagol where they produced it. The problem with Gridfinity is I like it, and I'm not knocking the product. But when you get into machinist toolboxes, you can't use it. So what I did was I modified it to where you could use it in the machinist toolbox and still work with it in other areas. So
yeah, I do like 0.5 grid finity because yeah, I don't like too much waste and so many items, especially machinist tools are so narrow or small, and you do
yeah,
want to
that's
keep them
basically
separate, and that kind of
what I was
forces you
doing.
to keep everything in one box when you might want it to be separate.
Well, when I'm actually setting up my because I've got, well, now I'm up to about 160 inches of toolboxes along the wall, which I know you're metric, so I'm not sure what that is in metric, but uh, you know, more than double what I actually typically see a guy have a toolbox for, considerably more than double what your average mechanic will have in a toolbox space. But I have shop tools, I've got other things in it, machinist tools, um, mechanics tools for and standard and metric because I work on ag equipment and ag equipment likes imperial units, unfortunately. But not every imperial unit works in metric. 13 millimeter, 15 millimeter, and 19 millimeter I do use commonly. Actually, 11 millimeter as well, because it will actually work on a 7/16. Not the other way around, but yeah, not close enough type deal. But we actually have to have metric and standard um, for most of what I do, all the way up to what was it, 32 millimeter and 2.5 inches are my biggest sizes. So, and down to 4 millimeter. But yeah, the Gridfinity is a good thing for makerspaces because you're going to see a lot of it. I think more makerspaces are going to be like me and wanting in their boxes, so you can sort it and move things around, adjust things. It really is a good system.
Yeah, because spaces they sort of infinitely collect more and more things, and it's handy to have somewhere they can go.
But if you actually essentially just shrink everything with Gridfinity, that's what I've been using. Welcome in, Beardy. Tech Cheaper, Barking Cauldron, has Liz in here. These are the ones I've seen so far. Again, anybody that has questions on Piled 3D can join. I will even step out so that we can keep it like this and just the audio. And welcome in Retro.
So this is, this is a laser cut Gridfinity, which I think is pretty cool, especially when you're wanting to make a lot of it. Like I don't like printing parts separate that you have to combine or glue together. It's just a bit of a faff. So yeah, in theory, you could cut this absolutely massive, and yeah, it's really quick and cheap, and
technically, if you're doing woodworking, it looks a little bit classier.
Yeah, it looks nice. And for big base plates, you can always cut them thicker from like 6 mil MDF or something, and then it makes it a lot more rigid than a really big print, because Gridfinity base plates are pretty flexible at a big size. This is the base plate tool, which has a laser cut and 3D print mode. Just change the U and click the button and wait a second. Also, this is the Mac OS version, which I just released yesterday, which was quite exciting. And then the day before that, I released the Linux version. So now you can use Powered on whatever you have, which many people have been asking for, because yeah, I fully understand why you wouldn't want to use Windows. It's not the best. So that's
I'm actually not one of those that has got mixed reviews on Mac. I think part of what makes it so great, tear it up. Part of why you can't tear it up is because you can't do anything.
Well, you couldn't use Powered.
Have a point.
Yeah, it's a bit awkward because you have to have a Mac to make a program for Mac. But I did it. Yeah, so this is quite a simple one. which is nice because some tools you can add more and more and more inputs, but Gridfinity is nice and simple. And then I'll show you the box. I've got a few boxes here. So yeah, you can make grids or just a empty box, or add a label lip. Yeah, you can add magnets or screw holes in the bottom. I don't really know anyone that uses the screw holes, but it's a thing.
I don't understand why you would need screw holes in the bottom, because wouldn't it be kind of defeat the purpose?
Like sometimes people like to just screw it down so they don't move around on a base plate. It's a thing.
I'm not denying it's a thing. I've never seen it, but I just don't understand why you would.
Yeah, it just was part of the spec. Yeah, it's a weird one. You can add a little scoop.
What we've done is basically we shrank the Gridfinity in half. Height-wise, we dropped the depth on it in half. Actually, I think a little less than half on the final version. And then we kept we dropped the grid in half, so you could basically double the grid size, or double the amount of boxes on the grid.
There is people have made half Gridfinity, so it would be. I'm not sure exactly how they implement it, but it would be worth checking if it's compatible with the existing half Gridfinities. I have thought about adding that, but I've had other things that I've been working on first. But yeah, half Gridfinities.
On this, this is basically nothing but scope creep, or what I used to call scope creep. Somebody asked for something, you add it, and I understand you can only add so much at a time. This is literally just select what you want on the side and then start building.
Just I couldn't really make it much more simple. And then it will export a step file, which I think is a lot of the magic, because most of these tools, like Bamboo, Maker Lab, or whatever, they just give you meshes, and that's not very useful if you just want to make a change. I hate working with meshes, but if you can just bring something into Fusion and just like extrude it up or add some holes exactly where you want, I think that's really cool. And then it will still export. Oh, it's not showing the export menu, but yeah, step, STL, GOTF, 3MF. There's also an option to add the XYZ of the model in millimeters to the export, which I think is pretty cool, because a lot of the time I have a model and all I want to know is how big it is. And if I have to open it and put it into a slicer just to see that, I think it's a bit annoying. So I like having the size of the model as the file name, but you don't have to do that, but it's an option. What else should we show? Yeah, let's do the laser box, because designing a proper laser box and making it fully parametric isn't a quick thing. Of course, a lot of people can do it, but when you just want a simple box sometimes, I don't think you should. I'm just going to show how the burn works. I'm just going to get some boxes. Yeah, so it adds the burn there, and then you change the material thickness for the other direction, and yeah, I like how the different pieces are rendered as different colors, because otherwise you just wouldn't be able to see where the finger joints are or anything if it was solid. Well, we can do that. There we go. Yeah, I have no idea. Well, you can just about see the gaps, but it's not ideal. Yeah, so you can change the top and bottom separately. So shows strong bottom mode. Yeah, because on that normal box, in theory you could push the laser cut bottom out, but if you design it like this, you just can't. You can put something really heavy in there, and the bottom's not going to come loose. And then,
You know, how large or you could yours doesn't have like size limitations for 3D printing with this, I'm assuming. So you could actually theoretically use it to build drawers.
oh yeah, that's a mode. We'll get to the drawers. Yeah, it's pretty much, if you take, yeah, we'll get to drawers. Yeah, so you can set the bottom to strong, but then you can also set the top to, if you want. I don't know why you'd want this shape, but that's a thing. Actually, I should allow you to set the offset separately for the top and bottom. I'll do that. This one takes a little bit to load just because it's quite a complicated model, but it's far quicker than designing it yourself. Yeah, so that's box mode. Let's do some drawers.
Like you said, you can actually export this, basically do the simple parts in piles, and then take it in and do more advanced work in a program like Blender or Fusion, or stuff like that as well.
Yeah, so you can export this as a DXF for the laser cut, but you can still export the 3D model as well. Yeah, like if you wanted to cut a specific pattern into one of the faces, and then yeah, with Fusion you can select a face and export that as the DXF. Yeah, so here are some drawers. They take a little bit to assemble, but they're pretty nice. I like a good set of drawers. Still smells a little bit. And of course, this was made at Makerspace because owning a laser is an absolute faff, especially if it's a big one. It'll make your house smell.
Well, I think there are always going to be maker spaces because not everybody's going to want a resin printer in their house, or even the larger FDM printers, or the lasers, the CNC machines. It just because I'm an idiot and have it all in my house doesn't mean that everybody's going to do it.
Yeah, it's not the norm. It's
and
actually
I don't think it
really
ever
rare
will.
for a resin. I've been to a lot of maker spaces. I don't know, like 6 or something now. I've never seen a resin printer working. Like normally they might have one in the corner that they unplugged a while ago. Yeah, they're a pain. I think it's a shame they don't get them working, but you need to set them up properly in their own very ventilated room, and yeah, they don't want to take that risk normally. But I think they could if they set it up right.
The resin's going to be a little while before I have it set up permanently because I got to figure out ventilation on it, and that is actually the hardest part. In fact, I'm actually going to be slow on my metal and the metal shop and wood shop for the same reason. I have to get cameras in the area. And so we're going to start with the laser. The CNC router is going to be up. It's not all my woodworking. And part of my metal shop. And then as we grow and can get ventilation and other things hooked up, permanent where they can walk up and use it, we'll open all the rest of the settings.
Yeah, one bit at a time.
But I fully get the reason that resin's not, but I know in mine I'm planning on putting some sort of a room for it and just that room for resin. Maybe the laser in it too, but the same reason. If you ever laser on leather, you'll understand why ventilation is more than required.
Yeah, you can't have too much. So this is a drawer, but just a single one, just so it loads a bit faster. But yeah, so it's got the two holes, and then you could have, if you have a handle or something, you can set a distance between them and screw it in. But then I also have an option to generate a 3D printable handle that will export at the same time to go with it, which I think is pretty neat. I want to do more things that combine 3D printing and laser cutting. Yeah, I think there's definitely a lot of cool stuff that you could do with it. Even a very common thing you see is those when they join sheets to make like shelves and stuff, so you don't have to screw or glue anything together. You can make some like modular shelving and stuff. So I definitely want to do something like that. Yeah, and this handle's cool. I've got another handle that I need to print and do an example as well for just one hole. I'll show the handle tool actually. Yeah, I combined it. I had knob tool and handle tool, but now they're as one. So yeah, that bar is the one that you had.
Handle directly into it so that it generates it and exports it separately. So, I'm assuming you select knob, it puts just one single hole into the knob and then handles the same way in the laser file or what?
Well, it's a 3D printed file that it exports at the same time. We just put them both in the same folder that exports. This is new. This is quite fun. I need to print one of these off. I really love it when it's got some like custom interactive UI like this. I've got a vase tool that everyone loves that I'll show later. Make some funky shapes with it. Oh, why is it not selecting? Yeah, so that's pretty fun. What other laser things are there? Triangles good.
Well, it looks like you had a live edge creator one time, or a live hinge. It looks like
yeah.
I don't know what that actually does.
Yeah, I need to do some more tests with that. I have a living hinge tool. Yeah, I only tested it once and it wasn't particularly flexible. So I need to play around with that. Also, it was MDF. I think plywood bends a little bit better.
Maybe if I would live edge on your, I don't think that would work.
And
Probably break.
they're not particularly useful on their own, but it's handy to have a way to generate the lines so you can import it into a design that you've made to make bits of it bendable. Yeah, I'm excited to do that. I kind of want it to generate within the model though, but that's a bit awkward with also showing a 3D preview of it. But maybe I should abandon the idea of that temporarily for the living hinge like box things, because it's it'll be hard to show in the preview like what bits of it are the living hinge and what's the straight bits. But maybe that doesn't matter, and I can just have a solid preview, and then that shows all of the living hinge bits on it.
I think on some things, and maybe I'm looking at it differently, there's a few things that are hard to do in a lot of your programs. Like living hinge is difficult to do, not possible.
Yeah.
Difficult to do in like CAD or FreeCAD or any of the programs that I've used. Maybe I just don't know how to do it too, but aren't an easy way of doing it. So sometimes we just have a way of generating it to throw in another project. The tool can be used.
Yeah.
There's an external, you export it and it's a separate piece. Your handles, for example, some of those you can do a new handle, even if you have another project. Oh, well, this is a quick way of doing this. I mean, we both agree you can do anything in here in a different program. That's not disputed. It's just easy.
Of course. Yeah, it's just meant to be faster. And I hope to make it easier to figure out what it can do than just clicking through each thing. I've been working on examples for what it can do. I've done most of them now. I've still got a few more things to fill in, but yeah, we're getting there. So this triangle tool is pretty fun because, again, designing stuff for laser cutting is an absolute pain, because you got to get the curves and just pattern all these finger joints. And to make it properly parametric is not a quick job. I'm sure some people find it fun, but some people would rather just have the shape. And there's a massive market of buying laser cut files on like Etsy and that, and they're all right, but they're fixed. It's very difficult to edit. And
I've seen files out there that's just for, you have to have that thickness of wood. That it's not.
Yes, and they export like a set thickness of wood. Like normally it's like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or sometimes less. But some thicknesses are different, and especially when it comes to finger joints, if your wood is slightly different, it will be jutting out or not. The fingers won't be coming flush to the other edge, and it's just so much better if you can put the exact material thickness in, and and be able to actually adjust the file. Because especially if it's like a holder or a display stand or something, in theory you could scale the model in Lightburn or something, but that would mess with the finger joints, like extending out again. But also if it was a holder for a specific sized object, then now that's completely out of scale as well. So laser cut files are much harder to adjust than a 3D printed one. So yeah, that's why I think it's quite particularly useful that I can generate these
for anybody
types
that's
of
doing
files.
this, in most of your laser programs, remember, you can import this in and then decorate everything around the box in the program. So anything that anybody's done that's fancy on these boxes and all that, if you've got Inkscape or I know we use Inkscape for our embroidery, vinyl cutting, stuff like that. You can take those graphics and put them on the side of the box in the program. So
Yes,
anybody,
I don't do that because it's yeah, I'm just trying to show exactly what Pals can make without anything else. But yeah, it would be so easy to align an engraving or a cut pattern to an edge after the fact. Yeah, in that way, editing laser cutting files is very easy. Yeah, and that would be cool. Yeah, so this triangle one is interesting because where these two faces come and align, you need the bottom edge to come short because otherwise they'd intersect with each other. So you need to calculate exactly according to the material thickness where it would align on that top edge. Yeah, so stuff like that is not too easy to figure out for someone that isn't particularly good at CAD. Yeah, so that's fun. Where is my triangle?
you actually have it to where it resizes that based upon the thickness, I assume. That calculates how much inset you'd have to have.
Pardon?
Or is that a wedge, or you actually have it sealed inside the box by cutting it the exact length? Well, you got it sealed inside the box.
Look, there's nothing in it, but
yeah, but I'm talking about you actually have that edge to where if you took the back off, it looks not watertight, but you wouldn't see light coming through it that much.
oh yeah, it's aligned right, touching. There's no gap. Yeah, in theory, it is watertight. Yeah, I should have probably made the kerf a little bit smaller on this. You can kind of see maybe with my torch. You can kind of see the gaps either to left and right of it. But yeah, I've been cutting at slightly tighter tolerances since then.
Anybody that hasn't used the laser, you're always going to have a issue with, especially when you're first at it, getting the kerf configured for your laser. Different lasers are going to have a little bit different kerfs and all the same as some 3D printers are more accurate out of the box than others. But that's why buying a file sometimes I don't think is the best idea if you can make a laser file. And that's also why we never sold laser files, by the way. Is your laser file needs to be set fully for that project and that board thickness or your material thickness. At least in the stuff we do with the laser. Same with the CNC. It's been difficult to get a project that I could sell to somebody else and actually just make it. And this fixes a lot of the problems. In fact, thinking about it, I could probably sell side pieces for some of these projects, designs, and then they go back in and remake it for their size of wood they have. And then it would actually function.
Yeah. So much on my desk now. Yeah, so this is another laser cut thing, but you can add dividers, which is just a standard thing. Oh yeah, which is draw, but then you take that out and it's just a divider box that has drawers as well. Oh, I just noticed this box happens to fit very, very snug.
Well, wood, you're gonna actually have swelling as well. I mean, there's all kinds of other dimensions you gotta deal with on wood. Just humidity in your air can cause that to swell or not swell.
Okay, so for the divider box, I let you define the size of the cell or either the size of the outer box, which I think is pretty nifty. I'll do. I quite like how I do these divisions. They don't actually cut into the bottom. But they just stay aligned by cutting into the side bits.
It's easier to assemble, I bet.
And then I like how the corners are cut. Just keep it chunky at the corners. You don't want it snapping off. And then there's a extra fun mode. Where you can do this. We'll get to some 3D printing tools in a bit.
I would say most people, I get that some may not have interest in laser in this field, but I think most people will at some point. The ability to
It's inevitable. And I tell so many people, just visit your makerspace and see what they have, because yeah, people don't even consider it, but they're so welcoming. They're all so cheap. You can rock up, do like so much laser cutting you can get done in an hour. It's not the same as other machines. You can just like almost everything I've shown you, I could cut within an hour. You just rock up, cut a sheet, and then bring it home, and yeah, it's so easy. Yeah, so this tool's fun. You can just click around and create divisions and set the size of each bit, and then generate it, and it will give you a 3D preview, and you can cut it out and design it and have it cut in like a minute. That's the idea.
Also, for anybody that
So I was just getting really frustrated with.
For one thing, if anybody's just interested in 3D printing, remember, if you actually generate this file, you can actually 3D print it. Set the height for the width that you set the wood, generate it, 3D print it, and glue it. And in some cases, I'll agree it's not as strong, but in some cases, it's strong enough for what you're doing.
Yeah, a lot of these tools you can actually 3D print and laser cut. This is a good example. I like how this one shows the assembled view like this, and then that's the 3D printing file, and that's the DXF. And if we go into info, so that's a filament box divider that's laser cut, and that's another one, and then that's the 3D printed version as well. and then it's got these little clips that hold the alignment, because otherwise when you're printing really thin sheets, they're going to warp. They're not going to stay straight. So you can print them and it will hold it. Yes, I've printed lots of them. So the way you do that is you make this gap and go to aligner mode, and then when you've got aligner turned on, it will automatically make this aligner that slots into these gaps as they're together. And then you could even laser cut the dividers and then just 3D print the aligner clip to hold it straight. I should do that actually. And then these gaps, you can either have them above the slots, which is handy for the aligner, or you can have it between slots, which is handy. Sometimes you might have something that's like kind of long that you want in a box, but the divider's like taking up the height. But if you add the gap in the middle like this, then it gives you that space. Yeah, that's another thing I need to do an example of. And one I didn't show, that's the grid, one of the custom grid dividers. And then this tool is the 3D printed version. Very similar, but the difference is that it lets you generate these patterns within each cell. I don't know if this one's particularly nifty. This is something I made where it's got USB and SD and micro SD and some pen slots and an open thing, and it didn't really take me that long. Half the time it's just figuring out what the dimensions of the hole need to be. I do have plans eventually to have some table that shows a bunch of common shapes and the sizes they are, which should be useful. I've got a spreadsheet that I've been working on for years and years. It's got nearly 100 different shapes like this.
From personal experience, I wouldn't want to release something like that, because I know that somebody got something that was a little bit off shaped and they blamed you. Well, I printed this and it didn't work.
Yeah, no, I'm apprehensive, and I don't want to promise anything. I might just do the standard ones. I've got some really niche shapes in there, but yeah, at least these ones like USB, SD, they're very, very common things.
I get the USB one, even the pens. If it's an off-brand Sharpie, it's the same size. You know.
Yeah, well, I sell these shapes as well, and sometimes people are like, "Oh, but this doesn't fit," and I'm like, "I didn't even know that was like a version of this shape that could exist with a little notch sticking out the side or something." Yeah, you can't account for everything.
Yeah, we can't think. We're not psychic, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah, expected to be, but not.
And I assume does that actually turn it into Gridfinity based upon the left menu on the left?
This isn't. This can't be Gridfinity currently. that is a good idea. One day. Oh, I've made that a bit long.
Now remember, everybody, you can't actually take that same size, pick it on a Gridfinity basis. You can also generate in the program, go in your slicer and make it Gridfinity until he gets it done. It can't actually be functional. You know, you can build that out of your slicer, essentially, with the two components. With a little work, yes, but can be done.
Yeah, so I'm really happy with this one. It was an absolute pain to make this interactive UI here, but it works pretty well. You can remove a compartment if you regret it, or you can set the holes to cut through, or just go a set depth, which you of course need if you've got Sharpies and a micro SD card on the same grid. They're going to need different depths. Why is that? Yeah, so yeah, this one's pretty cool. It's I used to design this type of thing a lot in Fusion, where you've got different sized like grids next to each other, and yeah, it's just a bit of a faff. It really is. There's no particularly quick way around it. So yeah, this is pretty fun. And I love a grid. I've used this tool probably the most out of all of them. Yeah. So of course, this is a DXF, so you can laser cut this shape if you wish, or just 3D print. Yeah, 90% of the time I'm 3D printing this shape. Some good old holders. That's what 3D printing is all about. I should put some more examples in here. Made way more.
Because who collects CDs anymore? Sure, a lot of people collect them, but, they don't make folders and stuff like that for them anymore. Records.
Yeah, you don't see them as much anymore, but it's I sell a lot of CD holders. People clearly still have them knocking about.
Oh, I think they're actually.
I own 2 CDs myself.
I'm sure people collect physical media because you don't own anything except streaming and all this. At least if you had a disc, you own that disc. Video game,
Yeah.
you own that video game. I could see them selling, but you're not going to go to Walmart and buy one.
No, well, a lot of musicians are still releasing CDs as like a collector's item type thing. Yeah, I think this shape is just beautiful though. It is very, very filament efficient. You can do this if you want it to be even more efficient. Yeah, that's just lovely, isn't it? What a good shape. What else should we do to it? Yeah, so you can set like the outer wall to a different thickness. Let's make that a bit longer. Those corner holes are a little bit too in the corner.
I assume that's for mounting it to the wall. Or something of that nature.
There we go. What a cool shape. I tried to make these shapes that you've probably seen them before, that like you probably own this shape. They're very multifunctional. Like I've made variations of this for like 50 different types of model. Like, so it's useful for so many things. I normally, when I'm selling it, I don't have this hole in the middle.
One thing,
An angle. Well,
yeah, where you can,
I've been meaning to.
sorry if I'm asking questions that are, no.
No, that is a good idea. I've been asked a lot for an angled holder. I just haven't done it yet. But yeah, that would be good, especially if you want to like display something, or like on a shop shelf or something. Having like an angled thing is nice. What people want a angled holder for as well. Well, Mr. Excuse particularly keeps asking for this, and I don't blame him, to be honest. He likes this tool a lot, and it's probably one of my top 2 or 3 as well. He wants angles on this as it's going up, which is a good idea.
I'm looking at things from how we design it versus, that doesn't, this is a masterpiece of actually accomplishing it. It's, you're making something that would take half an hour to an hour, take 10 minutes. So
that's the idea, because it's not actually that complicated of a shape, but the steps that you need to take in order to create it and make it fully parametric does take that long. As much as people might think that they're so good at CAD that they could get it done in 2 minutes, these things, they take longer than that, and sometimes you just need the shape, and it's right here. Yeah, I'm really happy with this, and the way that it, optionally, you can have it create a solid under area, but the way that it creates this void in the back can cut the time and filament in half when you're printing something big.
yeah, and people don't think about that all the time when they're making something. It's just that it really makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
I didn't know. It also make a difference on strength in some cases. Um, not not as much in a bad way as you think, because the outer layer has more strength than what people think about versus the inside, the infill. If you're going to print that with zero or low infill, it's going to be weaker than it will be with that angled back. So, you know, if you're printing a solid, of course, it's going to be stronger with the full back. But with 5, I would not do that 5% infill, but I know some people will.
I've got this circle mode as well. And Mr. Excuse also was saying how he kind of wants it to, like, each row to be offset, so you can sort of stack them a bit closer together. Which I should do. And then if this was angled as well, that would be cool. I haven't haven't printed it yet, but I think this will be good for like Warhammer paints and stuff. I don't have any, so I don't know the size of the bottles, but I should buy one to test that. Been doing a lot of laser stuff. Yeah, I'd say laser cutting's about only like a third of what it can do. There's a lot of 3D printing stuff. But yeah, in the makerspace world, there's a lot of laser cutting as well. I did this kind of recently. I'll just grab. Yeah, these are fun. This is a laser cut shelves. They slot together very easily. And again, it's something you kind of see a lot. People sell a lot of very similar files on Etsy, but they're not exactly what you need. So yeah, the ability to set the depths and size and material thickness of everything is just, I think it's so cool, and actually see what it will be like in 3D. Yeah, so there's curved, there's straight mode, and then I haven't glued this one together. And then there's the circle display as well. Too much stuff on my desk. There we go. And then, so I need to. That look more like it. Is there any particular tool that you want me to show off that you know about?
The one I was hoping for was you already done the boxes, because I think that's for a makerspace. That's a big thing to start with. I haven't seen many people talk about the fact that you can edit the file again after you get it out of here. It's like you're all act like it's done. And for me, basically, the only use I would have is either a simple item, because we can make the files here ourselves, or to make it fast. That's let's be real, that's the benefit of pile building. It's not a lack of skill to be able to do anything here. It's just, well, I don't want to do this. Spend 20 minutes calculating and drawing, or doing the fingered boxes for that. So for someone like me, that's something I see missing in the discussion, is you start with a base file. You get a third of the way done, and then you finish it, with custom pieces.
Yeah, there's embellishments. Yeah, it's not actually uncommon for people to not even have a laptop or a computer nowadays. So yeah, they don't have the time to spend hours at home to design these things. They just have the desktop or at the space that they can use, and yeah, something that can make it quickly would be very useful to someone like that.
Plus, the other thing is they're not it takes a lot to learn CAD to do the basics of this. Let's look at your live edge. I don't believe there's a CAD function to do this in Fusion. Maybe Beardy's here and can tell me I'm wrong and I just missed it because I wasn't looking for it. Can you do it? Yeah, we've done live edges for years, but is there a thing to make a live edge this size and generate it? Yeah, I'm not aware of it. Actually, there's some online tools, but
you can pattern sketches, but you really shouldn't because they're not. Yeah, it's just Fusion doesn't like it when you do that.
So there's no. I mean, I know some online tools to make these. I know some tools to make this. I'm not saying I don't.
Yeah, there are.
Plug and play right on the computer.
Not within Fusion. I don't know if there are plugins or what. It's not so much made for this type of pattern. But yeah, this is just like the most standard type of living hinge. Why is it not? Okay, it's not loading for some reason in diamond mode, but yeah, this is the most common one. There are quite a lot of different different patterns. I'll get around to that. I just need to get some good examples of this first. Yeah, something about the defaults I've got for the line gap or what is wrong. So
I get it.
Yeah,
I have no idea
maybe.
what that thing above the lift pane. I have no idea what the heck that is. But looking at the screen.
Yeah, maybe I'll do some cutting to test that out tomorrow. Okay, I don't know why it's not taking up the space there, but yeah, this is the lithophane, which is an absolute classic. I find with a lot of the online lithophane tools, they sort of limit the resolution. Like the meshes they give you are like 5-10 megabytes. They're not very big for how dense the mesh could be. Like, especially if you might want to generate and then scale it up, it would then look awful. But yeah, I just let you set it as high as the resolution of the pixels you're putting in.
Sometimes well for people. I mean, not everybody's got great internet where they can use online tools for it.
Oh yeah, it's offline. It will work without the internet connected to Steam. Yeah, it's on Steam. Some games need you connected to Steam to still work. That's an option you can turn on. But yeah, this will keep working. It does what it does, and it doesn't mess you about. This is a photo of a bee and a sunflower I took. Let's look. And it came out quite well. I need to do some more. I need to look through my photos and make some more. Yeah, and then you can do it in a few different shapes.
And for anybody in here, I've not been paid for any of this. I did ask him to join. He hasn't even given me a free license. So we're not doing this. Me talking positively about this because while I still don't think the program is for everybody. And for every purpose. I don't think
you might be wrong about that.
It is that one.
You're probably wrong about that. Everyone should use it.
I will give you that. We don't agree to disagree. The reality is, I think it does do a lot of things and it does things fast. So while it might not be something I've purchased yet, I'm not opposed to the software. And I think it's a great thing for people to look at and to seriously think about what they can do with it after you're done. After the program kicks the file out, look at what else the file can do. How can this take somebody from struggling with CAD to a finished product in half the time? Because we're not
Yeah,
all built master CAD like Beardy.
I'd argue it's yeah, like of course you could, and a lot of people do like to just design everything themselves, which I really can't argue with. It's pretty ironic that I love to design everything myself very manually. I don't like to download other people's models apart from sometimes, but as a rule, no. So yeah, I do understand that, but there are some things that this can do that I think are very unique and very hard to pull off manually. Like, I don't know, yeah, lithophane alone is something that unless you code, you can't just make a lithophane with CAD software. That's not how it works. Everyone uses a website. So yeah, just my spin on the UI and the options I give on that. Yeah, because I've got the shapes. I do want to add a few more shapes. Lithophane, like some people make like globes and stuff that they're pretty cool.
Basically, this is, in my opinion, it's basically not reinventing the wheel. It's just making the wheel easier to make.
Yeah,
On a lot of on this program, but that's what everybody's doing, and that's why I say, it doesn't have to be for everybody, even at that. If it makes your life easier, it's for you. Therefore, um, I, but I didn't want to think people think, oh, he bought my opinion because I said, the program before is not for everybody. I don't think there's some of us. It's like, well, I won't reach for it, even if it's better, because of the fact I can do it in this program, and I'm not even going to think. That's the people it's probably not for. But if you're wanting wanting it done now, and not 30 minutes from now on some of these, this is a better
yeah,
program.
yeah. Some people like to suffer, and that's a choice they can make. This one, I'd argue, most people would not bother to make, but I think it's pretty cool. Like this is marble runs are a very commonly downloaded over designed model because it's a faff. But I think this is great fun. I love it when there's a little custom UI thing over here. This is how I do it. You just let's finish this pattern off. And it completes the square. Very nice. You generate it and it spits that out. Look at that. So this is a pretty fun one. Yeah, I want to add more and more things like this that people don't just immediately think, oh, I could do that. Even though in a way it's not as easy. Like, okay, so grid tool. I have bulk export in QR, grid row, label peg, steps, swatch. Yeah, so I've got grid. Oh, I can't show it because it's not. Okay, no, this is worth showing off. Can we add a second screen? Or can I change? Okay, now I'll replace this with a different window. Hmm.
When we get off, we'll raid into polymakers and Teslas.
There we go. So now I'm just showing my whole screen. So on tools with bulk, it does this, and then it by default selects the variation that you have, but it will let you export everything. So say it's a USB grid, and then this is how it will label each export. It will give the size. It will say the XY variation of it, and then it will export all of them. So that's doing all of those step files, but you can export as multiple file types at the same time. So if you want the step, but you also want the STL, it will export every variation as an STL and as a step. And then if it's a tool that it's a split view and it has a DXF as well, you can do that as well. And then for each variation, you can also have it take a rendered screenshot of each model. Let's just do it as a step. And then it takes a little while because it's doing like a lot of models, but it's so nice. Like I sell these like holders for CDs and stuff, and I sell them as like a 10, 15, 20, all these different sizes. So it's so nice that just I can just select a couple boxes and have all those sizes all exported all at once. I think that's pretty neat. Yeah, it can take a little minute. I probably shouldn't have done an example with so many variations, but yeah.
The fact that you can export them all at once is, it's still a useful feature.
Oh dear.
Did it crash?
It crashed. Okay, it doesn't actually normally crash. What's happened is, that's not the current version. I'm showing you a version that I'm working on that exports faster in bulk mode because I was messing around with that. I probably shouldn't be running that version, but you live and you learn.
We're talking to the developer. We're looking at beta.
Yeah. So basically, the Mac version came out yesterday, and I still got a few things to sort out, but it's getting there. So it opens like this. This is what it looks like in a 1080p window. Let's show QR. I think QR is particularly cool because QR codes are an absolute pain. Also, 99% of QR code generators are mesh generators, and a lot of the time when you're generating a QR, you do actually want to bring it into Fusion to merge with, I don't know, whether it's a maker chip or whatever you have. It's so nice that it's not a mesh.
Okay, what is yours generate as then? An STL? Or not an
But
STL, but
step
an SVG? Is yours
a step file.
generate like a step file? Okay.
Yeah. Yes, straight to step. You don't have to import an SVG into Fusion. You don't have to select all the squares. It's just exactly as you need it. Like you can have it. You can disable the backplate or the text and just have it as the black. But I think it's cool how it does this. Yeah. So it has a few modes. It has this mode where it prints by layer, which is quick and looks pretty good. But if you do want to embed it, you can do that too. And then, yeah, you can either export it as a step, which is still an assembly, so the text and the QR bits are grouped separately, or you can export it as a 3MF. So yeah, you bring it into your slicer and it's just ready to go.
And remember, if anybody is watching this later, if you go to just ask for a QR code generator on Google, sometimes it takes you to one of those that QR codes only get for so many clicks, so where they're tracking it. So it, every once in a while, it's hard to get a clean QR code if you're not.
Yeah, and they're all
They're
stupid meshes, which is just not useful a lot of the time. Oh yeah, also yeah. So this has bulk mode, which is pretty cool, because some of the time when you want to make a QR code, you want to make lots of them, and having to keep generating it again and again and again manually is an absolute pain. Okay, it's not normally this
table with a spreadsheet that would you fill them in, or what on bulk mode?
Oh yeah, you can import a CSV, or you can just put it in a table. So yeah, this is it embedded, and then yeah, we can export it. Yeah, it does give you an SVG option as well, or a JPEG if you want it as an image. Let's do it as a 3MF. Yeah, on Windows it's faster. I don't know why on Mac it's being a bit slow. I'll figure that out. It's early days. Yeah, this is weird. Yeah, I'll show the bulk mode in a sec. God, this is embarrassing. Is on Windows it's much faster, so I don't really know what's going on here, but yeah, I'll look into it.
I've actually seen it operating on Windows. You know, it is kind of nice to see it on the new version that you just released. Don't get me wrong.
I should have probably tested it a bit more, but I was just so excited that it worked that I'm glad it's out. There we go.
In fact, not many design programs really work on a Mac. So.
No, it's yeah, because you need to have a Mac to make it work on Mac, which is so it's, yeah. I've given myself a little bit of work going forward, having to support both, but I'm glad I have, because yeah, I'd tell people yeah, I'd tell people about it, and then they'd be like, oh yeah, that sounds great, and then they'd be like, oh, does it run on Mac or Linux or whatever, and I'd have to let them down, but I don't have to do that anymore. Okay, let's bring this into. Okay, why is okay? For some reason, I can't drag Bamboo Studio over. Why doesn't? Okay, let's just share Studio. There we go. So that's Studio, and then we just drag that 3MF in, and there we go.
One thing I hadn't asked, it does export fully painted models for Bamboo. I've already tried it with, because we've had some issues with painted models not working with U1. So we tried that. It's not a full-on issue, but I have had some. Where when we paint it in Bamboo, it doesn't open in U1 Orca.
That's weird. Yeah, I haven't really used Orca. Yeah, I should test it out, but it should work. Although yeah, everyone treats the 3MF a bit different. Yeah, this is another thing.
When it fails and when it doesn't on that, but I have actually seen our files where when we uploaded it in Orca, it didn't work, and it works fine in Bamboo.
Mm.
It is not every time, so it may not be an issue.
So this is another shape that I think's not particularly fun to do in CAD. Yeah, I think it's pretty fun that how easy it makes it. Yeah, you can just import any model and it will cut it into these shapes. So this was made with the terrain tool and then imported into this jigsaw tool and then cut up. Yeah, and you can also just generate a SVG of the shape as well if you wanted to. Yeah, like laser cut out something like. I feel like if you that would be a good use. You could use the Eufy make to, yeah, color on top of some wood and then laser cut it out. Or, yeah, I think that'd be pretty cool.
Like the 3D stuff that you did, you said you're gonna have to bring in an STL or an SD or
Yeah,
an STL.
yeah, and any tool that has to be a STL to import, you can still import a step. It will just convert it to a STL first. There we go. Let's do terrain. Terrain's pretty fun. It's another thing that you couldn't really do in CAD. And you can make some really, really fun prints with it. I've had a good time doing this. This one's one of my favorites of Iceland.
Is that one of the program? Is that a version where you can pull the elevation into it, the elevation maps into the program?
So I link to these two websites where you can pull the data from, which is easier for me. I need to find some more websites But these ones are very easy. Basically, you just select on the map and it'll export the data, and then you drag it in here. Yeah, and if you've got any other data from anywhere else, as long as it's one of these file types, yeah, you can grab it in. And as you saw here, these are not like the rest. This is some plotter art, but it is of this 3D model. So you generate the 3D model, and then I've got a different mode where you can create these SVGs that plots with the height of the model. Yeah, and then plot it. So that's pretty fun. I want to make a few more of them. I've only made that one for now. Yeah. Oh yeah, that reminds me. I might do one of these tonight. Oh, I clicked wrong. So this one,
map?
you.
Said you might do a terrain map, or
No, I want to do this. Although actually, I wonder how a terrain would look in here. Yeah, so you import a 3D model, and then you rotate it to however you like, and then it will see which parts of the wireframe are visible to you, and then extract them and create an SVG of that. And this is only 5% of the mesh, which makes it a bit less dense. Otherwise, it would just be like solid black. But if you thin the mesh out of it, it can create these these cool SVGs. So in theory, I could plot that with like this pen. So it's pretty weird. It's quite unique.
actually,
But yeah, it's quite fun. I should do some more. I should have a drop down of some more example models to play around with.
I think fidgets would be kind of cool in there. Doing that way.
It's not particularly useful, but it's pretty. It's quite fun. I do want to make some more plotter art tools. Yeah, because I got the pen upgrade for my H2S, so I've been playing around with that.
Actually, have a plotter over there for using the pen to draw that out. But not that there's too many people looking for plotters anymore.
Yeah, I feel like plotters used to be a bit more of a thing, but there are some cool accounts that do some cool plotter art. I wish it was easier to switch between like different colors, but whatever. I'm not doing that much for it to be an issue yet. I would like a dedicated plotter that's much bigger. And the thing with plotters is they can be very cheap because they don't have to be that precise, and it's a really lightweight, so it doesn't matter. And there are some cool like tool changer plotter systems I've been seeing recently as well. So that'd be fun to do. It's like the cheapest tool changer.
Vinyl cutter that has a plotter on. That's essentially what a vinyl cutter is. It's a plotter.
Yeah. Crickets have the option to use a pen as well, don't they?
I don't. I've got a 32-inch machine or whatever.
Oh wow, nice. Yeah, because when you come to plotting, sometimes you do want to make something pretty big. I do feel a bit limited by my printer. It can only go to A4 or US letter, as you guys have. Actually, I don't even know if it can fit a US letter because they're a bit bigger. It can barely do an A4. That's like, I feel like they designed the H2S around being able to fit a sheet of paper in it. Yeah, this one's pretty fun. There are things that can make this, like there are OpenSCAD scripts, there are things, but they're not step files, and is a step file. I feel like I keep mentioning that, but all of these things are, and I think that's rare because most of these things, like on MakerLab, aren't, and I think that it makes it much easier to do some cool things with these shapes.
You're doing
that's
post processing. You can't always take a mesh in and do it. You'll screw it up. So that's why the step file. That's why you decided to step file for those picking up on it. If you're not done with the file when you kick it out of the program, mesh is not always the best way to go. You don't want to take a 3 and that's where you put two graphics together, I guess.
Yeah, unless you're a Blender wizard.
Even if you're
I'm not a fan
wizard,
of.
You don't necessarily want to do it either.
It's still probably yeah. This one's pretty fun. You input 2 bits of text, and you can read one from one side and one from the other, as long as they're the same length. This is really hard to print. Is the one time I've wanted a dissolvable filament is for printing this, because it's just an absolute pain. But if you use the right
and fix the issues. If you got a step file on it, you can actually do some chamfering and a few things and probably fix it. A little bit of it, where you could work on, but that wouldn't be the case in everything.
And I'd love to wire EDM this. I thought it would be an absolute pain because you'd have to, unless the machine could like auto rethread itself, or unless I didn't mind having the cuts come out the side. But it would be so fun to have a shape like this made out of metal. That'd be so cool. These are some examples. They came out all right. Another thing that you might not want to have to bother designing yourself, because why bother? This one's pretty fun. You can import an audio file and it will spit out this waveform. You can get it to revolve.
You can actually do a 3D version of it. Say it's a square.
A square?
Instead of just a flat, I've seen programs do a flat version of it. But it looks like you got a 3D version where you got with the revolve tool.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to print. I think I should actually I've only tried to print it really small.
If you actually just slice that and or put that in the slicer and you cut it back, you can still do interesting things with it. With the revolve, I get that printing it upright would be almost impossible, but
it comes out all right. You can laser cut it as well. I tried with acrylic, but because the waveforms are all so close to each other, it sort of kind of melted some of the sharper points. But again, I was doing it really small. I think if it was big, it would cut just fine. Yeah, and printing it, if I was doing it smaller, probably should just use a 0.2. Yeah. I'm very reluctant to switch nozzle sizes. I love a 0.4, but
I mean, like this
I should sometimes.
flower here, that's a 0.4. I mean,
I did
uh,
think it looked particularly nice.
now we have to work a little bit at getting the 0.4 to work, but we're kind of hesitant on making something for the 0.2 nozzle. But there's limitations, and sometimes, like if you're asking it to generate things that you can't control, let's be real, you're doing that with that because you're allowing to upload their own files. That's going to be almost impossible to compensate.
That's cool. You actually thought to make it a 0.2. I just always forget. But yeah, that looks really nice. I do forget how nice it looks sometimes. Yeah, one of those terrain models I did with a 0.2 when I was printing off a little mini version. I have this. Oh, I should probably show this. This was one of the marble runs I've done, which was a very fun print. It's cool that you can see that as there's less run on a layer, how the color change gets taller and taller each time. But yeah, that was a fun print.
I've never done a marble run. Let's kind of look at that as a pad. Maybe I'm wrong. I always went to the marble runs as a pad, so maybe I'm wrong. I've never printed one.
It took ages to slice that with me.
I'm also a firm believer that just because I don't do something doesn't make it not cool.
I have this box of examples. Actually, I've got two of them. Oh, I thought the terrain model was in here. That was with a 0.2. Guys, there's all sorts in here. What should I show you? Yeah, this is one of the voxel models. Scrapers. I want to make some more like parametric tools. And my maker chip, of course, made with everything made with powder, of course. These mazes are fun. I'll show you the maze in a second. Actually, just when I've got this egg open. Okay, so eggs are cool. I've got this option to split them. So you can split and then you can add this overlap. Yeah, which I think is pretty neat.
And you could bring any file in and do that, or?
I do have a splitting tool, and we can get to that next. But first, I'm going to show. Okay, so in this button, I don't know if you've noticed, there's this Add To button, and if you click it, it means that whatever the 3D model currently is, you can move it over to these other tools, like that jigsaw tool. So it's a bit of a weird shape to to come into a jigsaw, but in theory, a jigsaw or the splitter, so you can split it up and stick it back together if it's big, or voxelize, or hollow it, or twist it, or remesh it, or mirror or all these different modifiers. But let's move it into the texture tool. And the wireframe to SVG tool should be in that. Two. Okay, so this is okay. Please load. Oh, are you kidding me? Okay, I have no idea why it's not showing. Anyway, you get the gist. This is the preview of what the export will look like. So that's the egg tool, but I've added a texture to it. So I've got a whole lot of different textures you can choose from. What's a good pattern? Yeah. Oh, and actually you can see this is layered because we took the that generated pattern and then imported it again, and then we've layered this second pattern on top of it. Yeah, so you can add these textures, and this isn't a very good example to show, but you can brush, and then the texture will either be included or excluded from the brushed area. Yeah, and then you can add heights where it's masks where the texture will and won't apply. And it's really annoying that it's not showing in the output, because this is just the editing pane, and then it should show in the other pane. I really should have tested this tool when I made it work on Mac. On Windows, I'm sure it still would, but I'll look into that. I think it might still export, but the viewer's acting funky. Yeah, so that's a fun one. And as it's under in the list, time lapse. I like time lapses. I like photography. I've got a camera where I've got a DSLR that can take photos every few seconds or 30 seconds or whatever. Yeah, and then you just import it, and it takes all the timestamps and put all the names and puts it in order. You can reorder it manually if the photos are out of order, and then yeah, you can get it to generate you a time lapse. Because I don't really like using video editing software. They overcomplicate everything for absolutely no reason.
Just adding text into a video is way more difficult than most editing software than it should be. Or we're just getting into that because we're wanting to do longer form videos for some of our restorations for the makerspace. And that's I'm having to learn software for that because that's going to be on me.
I am looking forward to those videos. And I do think you should stream doing the woodworking, as you were asking. I think that would be good to watch.
The construction.
Yeah.
We're I'm a little bit leery of it, but I think I'm going to have to stream some of it. I
Yeah,
also have
just
to
a
get
little.
some of it done quickly because of the fact that I need to get her in here. Feels weird to build a house for your mother and build a makerspace at the same time. Why can't I do anything on easy mode? My last construction project was when I got Sandy moved in and when we got engaged. Started business, moved her in, and started construction of the house the same week. So
You do
now
it to
we're building a
yourself.
makerspace and building a apartment for my mother at the same time.
Oh, is she not moved in yet? She's
No,
above the space.
uh, no, she's gonna be on the first floor, and that's gonna make it a lot harder. But
Mm.
getting her up and down the stairs, so she's actually gonna be in a way living inside of it. But there, there's gonna be a separation. But yeah,
Yeah,
she's
maybe
gonna be on the same floor.
some
Uh,
noise isolation.
yeah, we're doing that. And also, we won't be able to run 24 hours a day because we have to deal with her, you know, which I'm not fully on board with 24 hours a day for insurance reasons.
Oh no, I, it's not that necessary. I find most of the time till 11 max is when people like to hang out till. Uh, yeah, some spaces end at like 9, 10. Yeah, it's not really that big a deal if you can't be that much later.
Now, that'll be easy to accomplish. 10 o'clock will be easy enough, but I don't foresee us going 24 hours.
No, it adds a lot of effort. Yeah, this one's pretty cool. It's the type of thing that you need quite a lot. That there are, yeah, there are lots of things that I could add to this, like I don't know, whether it goes at an angle or it's split into two or whatever. But I'm not quite there yet. But 90% of the time, a square to a circle or a square to square or a circle to circle will do the job.
Most of the time, the other stuff's already available. You just need that little last bit that's not.
Mm. Yeah,
Perfect.
just the last bit, just to get just between two sizes. Yeah,
The circle, you need a PVC in a lot of cases. Not always, I get it, but you know, if you can't use PVC, you probably shouldn't be using 3D prints type deal. Let's be real.
oh, that looks funny. Anyway, yeah, this is a very similar shape. Good old funnel.
Have you thought about putting a channel down it, which I don't know how easy it'd be to do for air?
I have thought about that, and I haven't done it yet, but good idea. Yeah, yeah, because it really is a terrible design without the air gap. It's functionally useless, basically.
What you could do
Yeah,
is just run the air gap up the side and make it
yeah. I
so.
haven't quite decided whether I want to do it up the side or down the middle. Um, I think down.
I think if you go down the middle, it's going to be a lot more complicated to render. If you did it because you're trying to use a SCAD script in a way. I know it's not. I'm oversimplifying it, I get it, but you're doing something like what you would do in SCAD with a script to generate
Yeah,
most of this, so you can do parametric.
yeah, it's quite similar. Actually, yeah, it doesn't necessarily have to be a whole like tube. It could just be like ridges, um, just to give that gap.
All you would have to do is put pins around the outer edge to give it a gap. Because this isn't. you can't compete with the dollar store funnel. You can't, you can't print them
Yeah,
cheap and buy them. This is, I don't have a funnel. I want a funnel, or I want a funnel to fit in this spot, and I don't want to go buy 10 of them or order them on Amazon or, let's just call it what it is. It's a useful tool, but you're not.
oh no, no, yeah, the dollar store one is better. Although it might not be exactly the size you want. I think sometimes it's quite nice to have a really small one, and it's quite cool that you can make just the size you need. Yeah, it's not necessarily cheaper, but you can make it there and then, and that's
But
what 3D printing is all
you're
about.
still not. If you have to just put where you put pins on the side of it, where you can space them. All you need is 3 pins because you're typically looking at a round hole on a funnel.
Yeah.
But actually, generator is pretty simple instead of trying to put a hole through the middle of it.
Yeah, that would be much simpler. That might be the way, because I was kind of dreading having to do the like a tube thing down the sides, because it's just, I know, it's a bit ugly. It sort of interferes with the nice shape of it all going down. But yeah, some pins down the side, that'll do. Oh yeah, so this is draw, not laser draw. This is just normal draw. Yeah, it's like the laser one. You can have a printed handle. Yeah, and I added this recently. This like label slot. Yeah, so that's pretty fun. Yeah, I was thinking I should probably do a set of drawers like this where each one is the different type of handle. So I might do that sometime. Let's just bang through a few more. Yeah, there's so much to it. It's kind of hard to explain to people how much it can do. Yeah, so this is hook tool. You can make curved hooks, square hooks, triangle hooks, S hooks. Yeah, you can make them single-sided. You can make them double-sided. You can make them wall hooks with a screw. You can make shelf hooks, or like a desk hook on the side. Like if it was rectangle, that's basically a like headphone hook for your desk. Yeah, S hook, you can have it as a square profile or a circle profile. Foot. This is quite a simple one. I haven't printed these yet, but I want to make them out of TPU. Just good for under some boxes or something. You can even do that like single mode or arc mode. You can add some more.
TPU actually does do a decent job. You do have to drop the infill a bit to make it a little bit soft. But I've actually done bumpers like that with out of TPU.
That's an idea, because I was almost thinking that I should increase the infill, but yeah, then TPU is very solid. It goes so solid when it's thick like that. Yeah.
I actually dropped the infill on it, but I also was looking for a feel. I don't know if you watched the stream where I showed my father's urn. He made tires for his. I built the urn out of solid oak to match the bed of the truck. Lasered his truck into it. Then because he loved the truck more than anything, I put it on tires. So it's sitting on 4 tires. So we printed that TPU for the bumpers underneath that.
Oh, cool.
I don't
No, I didn't see that.
But so we did. I did a bunch of the tires, basically the bumpers, which that's because I wanted those, and I did have to do my own design. So realistically, on that, it would be the same thing. You could actually, if you drop the infill, it actually makes it kind of squishy and soft, and it's still solid enough to be a bumper. So it still stays
Yeah.
level, still holds up the weight. It,
Still plenty strong.
yeah, your TPU is almost indestructible, realistically, after it's done.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I know someone who does like battle bots, and they're mostly printed out of TPU.
that's something I want to do here so badly. We want to put a battle bot arena inside the makerspace.
Yeah. Yeah, I was at Notting Hack last night, and I saw the battle bot in the arena because we brought it to EMF to have as a thing you could play in the. It was in the bar. The bar's called. It's called the Robot Arms, and yeah, the idea is you could come up to it and just play some battle bots within this like enclosed arena, and it didn't really work very well because of various issues with the machines, but you could drive around a bit. Yeah, the idea is it could like automatically keep score and everything. It's pretty cool. I'll show you a video of it when it's working. It's just made of extrusions and some panels. It's pretty cool.
We're wanting to make our own arena with stalls that come up like the original the show with an ant weight and auger on the side to turn them up, and more like the television show but with an ant weight. I know it's not going to be official arena if we build it that way, but
That's fine.
who cares?
Yeah, I think it's for amp weight.
I just think it'd be fun to make it, more brutal. You're there to tear something up anyway, right?
Yeah. Yeah, these were turned down so you couldn't destroy them, so people could actually like carry on playing, which is it's a whole different thing.
If you're paying for them and letting other people drive them, you want them not to be destroyed. But
yeah. Yeah, so this is fun. You can click around and remove to make your like a custom like maze thing. I've also got a circle mode of it when it loads. I think I've nearly got to most of the cool stuff. I still haven't shown maybe half of everything. It's kind of insane how much there is. Yeah.
Unfortunately, going by what I've seen on others, I have not yet purchased it. That is on my list at some point, but I'm tight on money.
Oh, that's fine.
I still wanted to support the project. As far as that, I am limited on what I can ask. Just what I've seen. This thing would probably take you a 2-hour video if we went through every feature of it. I mean,
oh my god.
Is that a measuring cup? Generator?
I don't know why it did that. Anyway, yeah, this is Scoop. So you can, you can set the unit, and then set the fixed dimension, like the diameter or the depth, and then it will calculate the other one to make the shape that's just the right size for your thing. You can add some text on there when it loads. There you go. Yeah, and some scoops. They're pretty cool. I use it for my washing powder. God, it's just so much to show. It's too much. Yeah, I need to make a better like home page that's got like a little image for each thing that is a bit more descriptive, because I know what the words mean it can make, but other people might not. So yeah, a good old image helps. Yeah, so this is a spirograph. You can laser cut it or you can print it. Yeah, they're good fun.
Does that have a gear generator too then?
Pardon?
Does that have a gear generator as well then or not?
Is it a what generator?
Do you guys have a gear generator? Because basically
Oh,
that
do
is
I have
kind of
do I have a good generator? Good question. Not yet. This is my practice for making gear generator, because what I want a gear generator to be, I want it to be able to simulate the gears and the ratios, and maybe be able to make a gearbox from it that's just got like the sides and
that's
the
ambitious.
pins.
Because you can't do that in Fusion that I'm aware of either, or any of the other programs. To total,
Not
you
easily.
can, but not easily.
Yeah, so I think that would be pretty cool if I can find out some really simple way to do the UI. I think that would be cool. It's not that easy to pull off though. Yeah, so these are that's laser cut. That's embroidered. That's plotted. These are just made actually just using it with a spirograph. So that's the tool, but then you can also generate the pattern as either a 3D print or an SVG, and then the SVG is what I use to plot and make the embroidery from. And then this is similar in concept to Lysages. This was actually one of the first ever tools I made, because it's another thing that you don't want to have to make in Fusion or whatever. You can't really make it without code. So I think it's cool that it can make that, because I just love this shape. I think it's a beautiful type of shape. And yes, I enjoy this shape. This is pen plotted, embroidered, a couple of embroideries, laser engraved, laser cut, printed a bunch of them. I've done a lot of things with this shape. It's just such a good looking one, and it's really fun to play around with the frequency and see what it gives you. Oh, come on.
Those actually give me some ideas of stuff I could do outside of that. I'd not thought about using frequency as a art form. But
It's a very arty one.
I'd look often as a like a koozie 3D printed around something.
Hexagons is another thing that you can 3D print or laser cut. Go hexagons. You can extrude it, pretty tall, make some like pen pots or whatever. I've had quite a lot of requests from people to make just like massive ones, like to put on their wall, or I don't even know what they need it for, but people like them big.
I mean, technically, that's what multi-board is in a way. They want that. It's got
Yeah.
nice background that's useful. I mean,
Pretty much.
I always call it decorative pegboard because that's technically what it is. It's nice looking, and I'm not knocking it. It's just it looks better than pegboard, and it doesn't serve the same purpose. So
Yeah, so this is just another type of grid. Just a semi-cylinder. Yeah.
do you have a website on that? I know Pile3D is I think .com is yours, isn't it?
I've got piled ltd.co.uk and piledapp.com are my websites.
Well, wait. Let's see.
Piled www.piledapp.com is the easiest one. Okay. This is quite a simple one. This is, yeah, it's just a sphere, but you can cut it about at different angles and hollow it. You can also do it as for an ellipsoid, equilateral egg, torus. Yet again, you can slice it and shell it. Tube. Oh, and then instead of shell, I do outline, because then you might want to outline it or have it as a open on one end. Cone. Yeah, they're just like simple shapes, but I think that you can slice them at angles is pretty handy. I've got a cookie cutter tool where you can import an image, and as long as it's like a solid defined outline, it should be able to generate a cookie cutter from it. Yeah, this is just a very simple circle that's then generated into this. It's not, this isn't getting generated from the ways that all the other tools make shapes. This is from an image. So yeah, you can import images and make that. And this is also sort of practice for developing a little bit further into being able to make like Gridfinity, like tool cutouts. But yeah, that's the end game for what's behind it, what it will be used for. But that's quite a bit more complicated. You've got a whole lot of options that you need to add, like little finger slots and all sorts. What's cool that I haven't shown yet? Oh, this is cool for laser cutting and engraving. Yeah, basically. Oh no, not that one. God, why is it doing that? Basically, where the text overlaps, it changes the color of the SVG, and then oh, I didn't select that. There we go. Where they overlap, it changes the color, and then these bits are engraved, and then the rest cuts, and then you can cut out these singular bits of text.
So this is
Yeah, as
essentially, or a, well, I guess you could render it or extrude it. But
because otherwise they just fall apart. They're separate letters. It's not an easy thing to do with laser cutting. It's not like with 3D printing where you can just do it on 2 layers and then it's fine with a base behind it. Yeah, I added a bunch of fonts for like stenciling, because yeah, by default there aren't that many stencil fonts. So it's so I've got quite a cool collection of stencil fonts. And then you can either 3D print it or have it laser cut, and then that will still stay together. I've got quite a few fonts that I've added. Like you can create barcodes and some cool fonts.
interesting. The barcodes are supposed to be start to disappear next year.
Well,
But you know that.
Yeah, there might be less of them, but they're still cool. They don't 3D print very well unless you go really big, because you need the difference between the lines to be quite precise. But they do laser cut quite well, or I mean laser engrave. And then you can use system fonts. But the problem with system fonts is they might not work. Some of them do, some of them don't. I don't know why. It's like I don't know, Windings, that doesn't work. They're two weird shapes. But you can try them.
Everything, and you try to make a script to do it. It's impossible to figure out how somebody will screw with your script. You know, you're never going to make it perfect when you open it to everybody. But it's not going to be cool unless you open it up to most. You know, my theory behind Mac. The reason it isn't as easy to break is they didn't open it up to everybody. But one of the weaker points of it is they didn't open it up to everybody. You know, everything in life is a trade-off. You either accept that somebody's going to be able to find a way to break it, or you don't let anybody play in your sandbox.
Yeah, and I should probably test it more. There's so much to test that I don't know. This is the most I've used the Mac version in total.
There's physically no way to test it enough if you let people play in your sandbox. That's just that's why a good example is somebody made a fidget tool where you make your own little dragon, right? But you can only use the stuff that they've already designed, because if they let everybody totally play in the sandbox, then they're going to just break the app. It's not going to work. You can't do it. So it's just you pick the amount of lanes and you put you're generating what they've already done. You're not making anything new or unique out of the system. And that's what you would have. You either got to pick it, which there are things you could do, and there are a few things that doesn't look like you're letting people totally play in your sandbox. It generates what you've done. You know, this is what it is. This is what people want. This is what you can do with it. But when you're adding fonts and you're letting everybody play QR code, you're never going to make it totally stable. Somebody's going to figure out what breaks. That's just human nature. I mean, I think it's a wonderful program. I used to say there's no way you can test it enough. Somebody's going to figure out a way. You know, it's certain to act like your fonts. Because you have to test every single font, and people are going to do new fonts.
I've tested the ones I've added. All of the other, I didn't even support system fonts for a while because I was like, I don't know have to do with it. Eventually, I did, but yeah, I know there's no obvious reason why some things do or don't work, but yeah, it's good to give people the option anyway, and there's that warning at the top. You can only warn people. Yeah,
And
so
there's
I've got
certain
this.
things you don't want to let them play in your sandbox because it doesn't benefit anybody. I can see a
Yeah,
funnel. Look, you don't need a banana-shaped funnel. There's no need for banana-shaped funnel. So it is what you know. You don't need to let them play that much, but or a text letter shaped funnel. Would somebody create it? Yes. In fact, now that I said it, somebody's going to upload a bunch of those files to make the world, and people will download them. No, there's no need for it. Uh, are those tool organizers or what? The fan things, or is that just curse?
Oh, these are just test files. Um, so you can test overhangs or bridging or offsets, like um, or uh, or engrave depth. Yeah, they're all yeah. A few are for 3D and laser. This is just for laser, and these are just for 3D printing. I think the thing with test tools online is they're sort of a one size fits all. So sometimes you just want to test within like the extreme bounds. You don't want to have to keep printing the like easy stuff. So the ability to just set probably just switch to it. Yeah, the ability to like really customize the test things. I think it's pretty cool because you might be testing for like a really narrow overhang or a really wide bit of overhang, and the ability to customize that I think people might find quite handy.
Technically, I've always done my own laser test. You're trying to fit it on a small item, and you have an idea what you're looking at, but you don't totally. So you're running a test. You want to run a test for what you want. So I've always generated my own.
Yeah.
Get tools for that. I mean, I'm not.
Um, God,
Welcome, Branya.
it's
Thank you for the tip.
it's been slow on Mac. I don't know what the deal is. I'm gonna have a long night of troubleshooting, I think.
I think you've done a decent job starting out with making it actually work on the Mac. I mean, if that's the one
It
you're really
works.
stuck
Yeah.
with.
Yeah, it didn't work for a while. The Windows version's good, and then the Linux version is just the Windows version, but running with Proton. Yeah, it's just been slow. Yeah, like that, especially the complicated stuff. Oh, there we go. It's got there eventually. Yeah, that's yeah. So that's the laser cut version. That's the 3D printed version. Just like testing offsets. You can easily just like add and remove offsets and change the size of them. Switch into bridge mode. Yeah, so you can make your bridges. You can do less of them and make them thick.
And literally make from whatever length you want. Or
Yeah. Like, yeah, you can set all the lengths differently. Can't imagine if this would be a useful shape for anything else, but it's a fun shape.
It's a necessary shape at times. And if you're trying to figure out what's going to the computer or printer, or some printers will and materials will do better bridging than others for a project before you go tell somebody you can do it. Especially you make it shape where you make a wide bridge. Because again, you need to see how it's grouping. If you're making the promises, you have to deliver. What's the calculator for up there? Is that for calculating cost of material or what?
Oh yeah, we'll switch that in just a sec. Yeah, so this is just a different type of like offset calculation. This is the angle tester where these are all the different angles. And then yeah, you can change the width and length of them. Engraved depth. Yeah, so this is for millimeters a second, and then if you can sort of dial it in to get quite a precise depth cut into the top of a laser cut thing. You can use it if you want to make a laser cut box that has like a sliding shelf, and you can use these you can engrave these slots in the side for it to slide in and out of them. Yeah, you can do some. It's a hard one to dial in, so that's kind of handy. Okay, calculator. I'm really happy with this. I think this is by far the best 3D printing calculator. Yeah, originally, I think this might be the first app I ever made, and originally it was just a spreadsheet. And the spreadsheet's gone through a few versions. I've got a version that's like a single version, and then I've got another version that's like where I can input every product I have and what type of packaging I'm using for it, or what type of if it needs extra things and the price of all the separate things, and then you can input like how many of that objects, whatever. But anyway, this is a little bit simpler than that, but more advanced in some ways as well. So yeah, you can input if you want to calculate for the cost of your printer and maintenance and utilization and stuff, you can, or you can just turn it off and set it to free, and then it will still calculate just fine. And then like even like filament, yeah, you can set up these presets. Oh, it's not showing the pop-up. Replace entire screen. Okay, there we go. You can set up these presets so that you can make new ones for your filament prices, and then it adds to that drop down. Yeah, for like if all the different types of shipping that you might charge, because like you might even use the same shipping but charge different amounts for it depending on if it's like gift packaging or whatever. So it's handy that you can set that up here as well. Yeah, and calculate it from how much shipping you actually charge the customer compared to how much it costs you, and then add that to the cost. But then, of course, you can just turn that off if you don't want to bother calculating.
We have a raid came in from Polymaker.
Oh, cool.
People. Thank you for the raid. Thank you for those joining. We were talking to Pile 3D about his Pile program.
Yeah,
those
that was the
the link.
calculator. This is just, I'll just switch to this while they're raising in. This is just a list of all the different shapes and things that my program can make. It can do a lot of laser cutting stuff. A lot of the laser cut stuff can also be 3D printed. Yeah, it creates step files, which I absolutely love. If what it creates isn't quite what you need, but you want to edit it.
Thank you for joining, Joel. Thank you very much for the raid. We're basically I set up a stream.
Yeah, welcome in.
Show off the CAD version. I think we can call it more of its own program than a CAD, but easy to make 3D files, easy to make makerspace files. That's what we're basically adding. For those that are interested in looking it up, Pile 3D, that's the website to the app. And again, thank you very much for the raid, Joel. I'm sorry I missed your channel. I set this up for convenience for both of us to talk about this. This is also going to be permanently on my YouTube channel. Kind of an ad, I guess you'd say. I will put in a link at the bottom of the video for that. So hopefully it helps you. Maybe you can make a sale or something. Support the a small business.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it is an ad, but I like talking about shapes.
I would consider a full ad because an ad I would actually charge for, right? Like any person would. This is kind of us talking about it. And again, if anybody would like to join or ask any questions, I can post a link and you can come in and talk. I guess I didn't ask him first, but you know, I essentially asked him to join. We didn't really have a plan. So if somebody would like to come and ask a question about Piled or ask for a feature, I'm gonna throw him on the spot. You can join in at that link. Join and talk to us. You can always say no. Remember. But yes, it is a great program because it makes a lot of things in Fusion and FreeCAD, TinkerCAD easier. I use TinkerCAD in particular for some simple things that I don't know that I would use TinkerCAD if I had Piled on my computer. I'll be honest.
Oh, we haven't even got to that. I do have a tool that's basically TinkerCAD, but different. It's limited in some ways and better in others. But yeah, you can import and merge and cut and pattern and do all of that. I just realized from scrolling through that that I haven't even shown off this. This is another tool that arguably you wouldn't really want to create with Fusion or anything else. Like it does it better. Yeah, so this is a pixel art tool. It can export 3MFs, which keep all the color data. It can export a step if you want to change it around, but it will also give you an SVG if you want to. That's what I use to make these. And so it has. You can either do it print by layer, which is handy if you don't have a multi-material printer. If you could literally feed it in like the olden days, or you can have it embed. But when it's flat, it doesn't even take that much longer because it's only a few millimeters. You can only fit so many changes within that height. But yeah, this one's pretty fun because you just draw some pixel art and yeah.
Any other thing we hadn't spoke or talked about at all? Let's see. You got the pegboard. Is that just for like a laser cutter? Do you cut the pegboard, or I guess you 3D print?
Oh yeah, yeah. That you can laser it, you can print it. It has like SCADIS style, circle, square. Yeah, Makerchip, of course. We could just. I don't know why that's taking so long.
For those are question, I think we're using the Mac version, so
Yeah, which came out yesterday, and I've found some bugs with it, taking weirdly long to load sometimes. But yeah, as of yesterday, it's out on Mac, and then as of the day before, then it works on Linux with Proton. Yeah, which is cool. For a very long time, it was only on Windows, but I've got it working, well, just about. I work on it a little more. Yeah, we could. Yeah, this is taking a while. It does load. It's just taking twice as long as it normally does. Makerchips are awkward because you've got to load all the different text and it's the QR code. Like originally, this tool was actually only, it was just the primitives and the QR, with the idea that it's doing the awkward bit, because like aligning and cutting the QR code into a Makerchip is just so boring.
Yeah, because it was some of the stuff it's difficult to get all that on. I can see most of the time when I've done a Makerchip, it's actually been in the slicer. You know, as far as when I've done it.
Okay, I'm just gonna
try
restart it.
Most of the time when I've done a Makerchip, it was in the slicer. I know there's other ways to do it, but I've just loaded the components up and put it together. I believe that's the way Kevin's teaching people to do it. I honestly have not watched his videos on that.
Yeah. Well, people have their they're normally meshes, and I love step files so much that I will go through hell to to make a file one, and yeah.
I need to go watch one of Kevin's files because I tell when people talk to me about it, I know he's got instructions and files easy to do. I was like, oh well, go watch one of Kevin's videos or go find one of his downloads and recreate it. That's just
Yeah.
because I know he's got step-by-step instructions. He's got all the format ready for it.
Well,
So
for
it's
the average person, the easiest way is to go to some STL website to generate a QR and then import it into Studio and then merge it
problem
with
with
that.
that is a lot of your formats, which again, Kevin actually, that's part of the reason I sent him to Kevin's system, is to get a clean QR code. You go search Google and you want a QR code. A lot of them will take you to these tracking sites or things of that nature. And the code will only be good for, say, 200 rounds. Well, if you're printing with a .4 nozzle, that more data in that QR code becomes a problem. It's not a clean QR code. So you end up with issues. A
Yeah.
lot more complex QR code, a lot more failures.
Like I'm quite lucky that my URL is so short. Powderup.com, that's not very long. Yeah, partially knowing that I'm going to make a lot of QR codes, and Yeah, they get complicated quick.
Bob.com is way too long in a lot of ways, but I can't afford Bob.com, so what I
That would be
got.
a very, very cool URL.
It would be, and it is actually available if I had like $500,000. I don't believe that I could afford that URL.
Yeah, that'd be hard to justify. Maybe it will pay for itself.
Doubtful. I don't think I make enough to pay for it the first year. In fact, I don't believe my net worth would probably buy Bob.com. But I do know at one time it was available. I would much rather have my makerspace than own Bob.com. Let me put it that way. Although I'm not totally sure in my area the makerspace is going to be a profit center as much as just a fun thing, guys.
Yeah, they rarely are. I think a good way is putting on events where it's like, come along and we will learn to make a thing, and you charge $20-$30 and 10 people show up and you can make a little bit from that. That's how a lot of spaces do actually make a bit of extra money from doing that.
My
And people
hope
really
is
enjoy it.
at some point it inspires somebody to make something cool. That's actually what we're hoping.
Yeah.
Essentially, we're considering this a charity. Now, whether or not we call it one, we haven't figured out. We're
Mm.
looking into that.
If
Getting a
if you
charity.
are a registered charity, it makes it much easier to get grants. And there are a lot of grants going. Like I know some spaces that any equipment they ever want, they can just get a grant for. And it adds up to tens of thousands.
Luckily, I've got a lot of things. In fact, I'm gonna after you get off, or we get off of here, I'm gonna do an unboxing where a guy donated something to. I'm not sure if it's to me or Makerspace. We're counting it Makerspace donation, because he won it. But regardless, we're gonna do a unboxing and playing with. We can a scanner that somebody donated for some tasks,
Mm.
which will be nice to make guards for the drill press and a few machines, so you can make cool looking guards that match. And they'll reproduce some new safeties in the style of what it used to be, which would have been
Yeah,
difficult without a, you know,
and
paper
you'll
mache
end up
was
getting stuff given to you, and um, yeah, and didn't you used to repair equipment? Wasn't that your thing? So you know how to fix up some junk bit of kit.
Well, yeah, I mean, the goal is to actually have mostly vintage equipment in, but I do want some safeties to make it, safe um, to operate. But the ideal is to have all cool looking machines in the makerspace, which means I'm not going to be going for too many grants. And
Mm.
once everything is fixed, I actually believe we are going to be on par with a lot of maker spaces with just stuff I own, which I know is me donating everything, but it is what it is.
Yeah, well, even just a few 3D printers and laser cutters, like that's a lot of what is needed. That's the important stuff.
I mean, what we have open now is where people can come in. I don't have a bathroom, public bathroom open yet. We're working on that. I had to figure out all my plumbing before I started. But what's set up right now is like dye sublimation, vacuum forming, a couple printers, vinyl cutter. Let's see what else I see here. Embroidery machine, 2 or 3 heat presses, 2 lasers, or infrared and 20-watt diode. Those are all open now. Plus this workbench behind me. That's most of an electronics workbench to build circuits. I mean, I got a power supply, soldering station with the heat gun, oscilloscope, thermal camera,
You got a lot of good stuff. I think it. Do you have a website for the space?
It's going to be the builtorobot.com. It's going to go to both at some point. The space, I'm somewhat waiting on the bathroom before I totally advertise it because that is an issue. But we have
Yeah.
to get that
Because
finished up. The public
what
part of it.
Nine Hack does is each bit of kit has a QR code on it, and then it links to the forum where for each bit of kit it just has a little thing that's like what it is, how to use it, or maybe it will have a like a report button where you can say if something was wrong with the bit of kit. Yeah, and that's pretty useful.
I'll have to look into adding that to the site. I don't want to run two different sites.
Oh no.
And
I
in
was
a
just
way,
thinking what's useful on these websites, just a list of tools, just so people can sort of know if you've got something that they might want there.
And we're working on that. It's just been trying to get other things done first. But we will have a list of all the machinery, and as we go live with more, because I have a metalworking shop in the back and a woodworking shop that we're working on.
Yeah.
Just safety factor has to be finished. But you should be live again on your picture, your desktop. Sorry, taking a second to realize it. For those that I'll let him finish that before I go to the other portion.
So this is like the Tinkercad like mode. So this was an imported 100 by 100 by 20 rectangle and a 30 by 30 by 30 one, and then I patterned it and changed the height, and now and then set that to the negative. Yeah, I mean you can do some cool things. Like in theory, you could import some like custom shape and then pattern it to create some holder for your item, or but then you can just do it sort of individually. Let's put the build area on. Oh yeah, I haven't even shown off all these settings. So yeah, you can change the angular resolution. Actually, let's just whack into vase. So okay, so this is a step file. It looks tessellated, but if so, the STL would export like this, but the step, of course, is still perfect and smooth. But so this is just affecting the resolution of the mesh. So you can really reduce it and make some kind of funky shapes like this. You can have the little XYZ down there. You can what's your favorite color?
I'd say blue, but that's everybody's
Blue.
favorite color, right?
Yeah, let's go for a blue. There you go. You can change it. That's a nice blue.
Teal.
Yeah, you can change that. You can change the wireframe color. If we set it to wireframe or solid wireframe or solid transparent or solid transparent wireframe. Yeah, you can show the Okay, I don't know what that's. Yeah, you do the good old left, right, front, back. Click to zoom. This mode's pretty cool, where it will show the height transition. Yeah, so base plate and the build areas. Yeah, so you can use this to see if it would actually fit on your printer. So that's the A1 Mini. I've got an H2S, so that's how big it would be. Yeah. Yeah, here you can see the dimensions. You can just like have it on your clipboard like that. It will show you the volume and weight. You can select, like, if this was solid steel, it will be 20 kilograms, which seems about right. You can just have the model spin if you want that. Oh yeah, also I've got a tool where you can import any model, and it will generate a 360-degree like looping GIF of the model rotating, which is pretty fun for some things. And then also you can do a section cut of each tool. Yeah, so that's the view settings. We haven't even done Vase tool, but it's pretty much everyone's favorite because it's so fun. You can just add points and play around with them and see update. Right now it's in vase mode, but you can, of course, generate a normal one with a thickness. And then we can show some examples. That was fun. That was vase mode with 0.8. One of very few times I've ever bothered to switch my nozzle size out. Oh yeah, that's for the 0.8 as well, but tiny. And then that's a different mode where you can add holes on the bottom and make like a proper plant pot from it. If you add holes, and then if you go into line mode, and then if we remove a couple points, and then you set the top diameter. You can't drag the top and bottom ones; those are fixed. Those you have to input, and then there we go. Oh, and that looks really nice with that low resolution. But then, of course, if you were to export it as a step and an STL, we could just real quick show that as an example. If I switch my view to
the Star Wars bot builder, I missed a bunch of them that came in with the raid. Is quite a bit of PP raid. But, we were talking to Kyle about his program.
okay, so this is the step file, and as you can see, it's perfectly smooth, even though that's the tessellated version.
So essentially, you can actually export realistically, even on your Tinkercad version, you can get a better quality file out of it if you use Tinkercad one.
Oh yeah, well you can set this to really dense mesh. I just kind of like that low poly effect sometimes. You can go much lower, but it will take a bit longer to load. I'll let you go down to 0.01 millimeters, which is very dense.
I found most of the time when I exported an STL from Tinkercad on a circle, if you actually watch it, it'll stop at all of them like a vinyl cutter used to do. I don't know if you ever cut vinyl with too many nodes, and, where it'll be a problem typically. But
Yeah, it's not the finest mesh from Tinkercad.
again, most of the time it's enough. It doesn't, but even Blender has its limitations.
There we go. Peg. Yeah. This peg. This has a. Yeah. So this one you can print by layer. It will embed as well. I keep forgetting to mention that because it's boring to keep saying it, but basically everything that prints by layer can also be embedded, which is pretty cool. Yeah, and then you can laser cut it as well. These are some. Yeah, God, the engraving didn't come out particularly well. It sort of gave this. Yeah, only a couple of them were fine, even though they're all printed next to each other. So I don't know what came up. Anyway, yeah. So there's this mode, or there's this mode, and that's all in bulk. You can. It will take a while because for some reason it is, but yeah. 2 input boxes. Oh no, a row of inputs, and yeah, just put whatever it is, and yeah, spit them all out. 3D print, laser, whatever. God, thanks for having me for this long. It just takes this. There's so much to say.
I get it. I mean, I appreciate you stopping in and showing the program.
It's good.
It's a fun program.
It's let me. Yeah, it's always nice to talk to you. And there we go.
Hopefully at some point I'll dedicate a little bit of extra cash. I know it's an inexpensive program for those looking at it. What was it?
Yeah, £30. Don't know what that is in dollars.
It's about $45 probably, roughly, but still not an expensive program. A lot cheaper than what you'd pay for CAD if you're commercially doing this stuff.
I think you get a relatively good deal to other countries as Americans do. I can check. No, $35.
$35?
Yeah, because Steam uses like it's not a simple currency conversion. They do other factors to calculate between the different currencies, like like Brazil and other countries where their buying power isn't as high. They get a relatively cheaper price. But then you Americans just give yourself an arbitrarily good deal for no reason. But that's fine. You invented it.
Yeah. I could see them doing that just because it's in America and they're giving themselves a good deal. You're not wrong. It is America after all. Uh, I think it's a good deal for everybody. It's yeah. Uh, a lot of the reasons I haven't done it is I can do the files out of fast, but and I haven't dedicated the cache to it because I've always had other things and I'm cheap. To be perfectly honest.
Oh, I understand it.
Uh,
The make space is important.
but I wanted to get all that off before I buy anything extra. But I'm also again not asking for donations here. This isn't definitely just me being I think a friend, hopefully, and showing off the product that I like as far as this. I don't. I mean, to try to not ever do ads for people necessarily. Even though I call this an ad, it's something I like. Not paid for, not you know, not demanding if anything when I have people on for anything like this.
Yeah.
That way, I can always be honest, and nobody can claim otherwise. If you don't give me a license for it, nobody can say I did it for a license even.
No, we.
It is what it is.
I think
Um,
everyone knows you're honest.
but I appreciate you coming on. If you're done, if you want to even stick around, I'm going to do an unboxing of the Creality scanner I just got donated. Again, I'm not totally sure if it was makerspace or not, but anything I own is makerspace related now, as far as
Yeah. Yeah, whether you like it or not.
yeah. So,
Actually, I'll show 2 more tools off really quick because
okay, no problem.
I should have done that. Oh, is the viewer broken again? This is really annoying. Can we add a? Um, oh, why is it not? What about splitter? Where's the? There we go. Yeah, so this you can import a model and then it will split it up and then add these little notches to realign it so you can print something bigger than your printer can print.
How large of a file can that do?
Oh, I don't know.
Hmm.
That's a good question. I think as long as you've got enough RAM and you're willing to wait a while, you could print off. It would split off a massive mesh. But yeah, it's rare that meshes are that big. Yeah, it'll split it up and yeah, you just set the
Their meshes are that big. Have you not seen my files?
I have actually. I have. Yeah, you exported a very high resolution, and I respect that. It's better too high than too low.
Yeah,
You do.
there are some of the sites that put their thumb down on us for export. We have a few files we can't upload anything but a 3MF on
Yeah.
because they're not happy with us. But you could take one of our files and make it absolutely massive. Uh, I'm dreading one of our concepts that we're working on because printed at full size, it will be over 7 foot tall.
What?
That's the general size we're making it in. So I am dreading that one.
How many printers do you have?
We're thinking of selling off a couple of the X1Cs, but we are currently running, let's see, 6 of those. So 6 of those, one U1, 2A1 would be the print font we'd use for it. It's gonna take a while.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Maybe don't sell them until after you've printed that model, because that'll take a while.
We're trying to think of cutting it back so it fits all in one rack. Either trying to get everything condensed more. Um, I'm debating on adding a little bit of a workout area into the makerspace for other things that are going to be happening here. We're also debating on adding a kitchen to the makerspace, which again, other things. We're wanting to do more than just making here. We're going to have a large open area.
No, it's nice. I ate some food at Notting Hat last night that someone cooked in the oven, which is cool. It's really nice to have that. A little feast. At least a microwave in the cabin.
Oh, we're talking about stove and everything. But regardless,
yeah. Stove, fridge, freezer.
Yeah. But we don't know for sure what all again. But we're debating on that. Also, we're thinking of doing some more food-based items for sale and other things as far as.
Oh yeah.
Go with it, and then it would be a video setup for it. So that's the kind of the concept for it as far as that. It's a studio too. So we call it a maker studio versus a maker space. We're going to be filming and doing things in it. But,
and if you want people to hang around making stuff, you got to keep them fed. You can't, or they go back home.
So we're debating on or looking into some of that stuff. But we're in fact we're moving this section behind me about 20 feet, I think, with our current plan, and this would be a workout section because of support. But it's a lot of things that are in the air for it. But
no, that's cool. I've never been to a makerspace that has a gym because normally any spare space is filled with random machines. But if you do have the spare space, that is very
well. But I have reasons to have it. So if we're doing it, we might as well put it in the public area and open it up. That's the goal. We're also trying to get more older people in here, and that'll help. So this is we're doing a pile. I guess if you're done, now I'm going to switch over and do an unboxing. You can also stick around.
Oh yeah, no. I haven't shown this off yet. Sorry, I did say two more, and then I did two, but this one's fun. You can import a model, and it will just twist it. So, yeah, that's fun. And then I've got voxel, where you can import whatever you want, and then it will voxelize it. I voxelized this terrain, and it sort of made it into like a Minecraft scene. Some other shapes. Voxels are cool. What examples have I done of twisted benches are fun.
Are you talking about a makerspace yourself, or I know at least a store front. I know Ryan. He said he was looking at piles. He's looking. I think he's got at least a storefront he's looking at. So I don't know if he's doing makerspace or storefront. I know he's talked about some of it. But
yeah, what does Ryath do? I feel like
I know he's talked about at least the storefront for like repair printers and selling filaments, stuff like that lately.
Cool. Well, where's he based?
Ohio. Similar to me, except I haven't started on the storefront yet. We are starting on the makerspace and then hopefully doing a storefront to at some point cover it because time.
Cool. So I just realized that there's this tool as well, which I think is quite cool. This is a box, and it shows the cross section of how the lid is joining to the box, because there are lots of different types of box. You might want to fully overlap or underlap, or half underlap, or half overlap, or you might want it to jut into the middle from the lid, or jut from the box. Yeah, and it's too hard to see with the box without, maybe you'd have to keep toggling the lid on and off and see how it is. But I think the cross section is very cool. Yeah, I do want to make a screw box, but I'm kind of scared of screws because I don't want to. I'm working on it. Screws are a
These
whole
are
thing.
actually very difficult on the box because of the fact of getting it to reprint is a little bit of a challenge. Once you get through that, it's
Yeah,
not too bad. Or at least it was to me. Maybe because we tried to start from scratch, but that was a learning curve for us.
yeah. I really don't want to mess it up, and um,
That's still a lot of testing, at least it was
yeah,
for us.
screws.
The first
Oh,
time.
yeah, these are cool. I like this. Clips. I like. Um, yeah, they just slot in. Cable hang. God, if these things didn't take so long to load, I would have been done by now.
I get it.
There you go. Cable hang. Cable hangs are cool. Little hooks. God, I wouldn't even try and load clock. That takes too long. But you get the gist. Dominoes. Rules. Anyway, yeah. Sorry, I just saw those few that I hadn't shown off yet, and I thought that they were worthy of a mention. But I'm very grateful for you letting me drone on for all these hours. It's been nice to it's been nice to talk to you, and I really do appreciate the opportunity to show this off.
It's not a
Yeah,
problem. I'm glad you joined me. As I said, anything we can actually, as far as getting anything, one person learns about a product that makes their life better, then it is worth the time. In my
that's the idea. I'm just trying to spread the word. I've really I feel like I'm a bit pushy sometimes, but it's like I don't think people truly understand how, if they use this, their life will get better. If you do enough 3D printing and laser cutting, this will definitely improve your life. It's like that's and the idea is, I think you could easily make more money from using it back than it costs you by orders of magnitude. That's
full on as far as making things to print out. Functional stuff you is harder to go to the show and sell, but it's better to sell to other avenues than use. Um,
yeah. It
but
doesn't work at a show, because functional stuff, but um,
that's
on Etsy
basically
and stuff.
what I said. Now, granted, that doesn't mean that we don't do functional items. They just don't upload. You
They
know?
sell great on like eBay and Etsy and that, but yeah, to upload them, like these shapes, they don't look particularly uh, extravagant. They don't catch people's eye on Thangs or Maker World or that.
That's
It's
actually
kind of
why we
why.
did, you know, functional things. We did, believe it or not, my first files uploaded were functional.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
it's
No,
like
it fully makes sense that you pivoted, because that is what does well online. For downloads, it has to be
well,
a
it's
bit
also what
more.
does well at the show when we're selling. The functional
Mm,
stuff that I designed didn't do anything. The very first designs,
mm.
the first files we uploaded to things were actually my designs. They're gone. I think they're gone. Um, but they weren't useful to anybody else. I made them because you couldn't type, you know. It's kind of like what we said about funnels. The funnel's a great file. It's a great file to have. It's a great file to be able to make. useful files. Well, both of us will agree if you want an actual funnel, most of the time you're better off buying it at the store.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but if you
As
want a
much as
funnel
I hate to
that
admit,
size,
no, that is just the
um,
truth.
you want to be able to 3D print. So it's a useful tool. But
Yeah.
if I'm uploading a file of a funnel and expecting people to download it, my generic funnel is the same thing as what they could buy at the store. It's going to be more expensive to produce. Now, your
Yeah.
tool makes a funnel the size that they need, different entire process.
It's
Then you
kind
get
of why I've
something.
gone so hard on grids, because grids, it makes sense for them to be printed because they're so custom specific shapes, like that don't exist. They don't exist in stores because they're too niche. All these particular shapes, like for a Atari Jaguar game cart, it's such a niche shape, but I sell these particular dimension grids. And then also the grid tool, I can generate and export every variation, which I think, well, it didn't pay out when I tried to do it on things and that, because people still don't care that much. But I was like, okay, people don't care about functional stuff if I upload a holder, but what if I upload 100 variations of that grid? Would they find that interesting? Turns out, no, people still don't care. But they do
Well, what
on.
they think is, well, I'll design that. They don't want to take up their drive space because there's other idiots like me that will upload a 300 to 400 megabyte file and they have at it because you can make it 50 foot long if you can find a printer that'll do it. You know, oh, there's always that guy. Uh, I mean, one of these files is just here. You can blow this up to the size of your printer. This little Triceratops, that just happens to be what's behind me. You can blow
Mm,
that the size of your printer, and it'll be fine, most
mm.
likely. There may be some
Yeah,
overhead pieces, but not that much. But
have you done any of them really big?
not this one. Let me grab something that came off the printer. Uh, right here is one of our
Nice.
molds.
Mm,
That's this.
yeah, that's cool.
Um,
And
but
it really does make sense that you're like really dense when you're gonna scale it up to that size.
well, it was never intended to be scaled up to this size. This is actually just the way we release them. They're just that
Yeah.
detailed. I mean, I could keep growing, and you can actually see more details in it. If you look at one of our, I don't need my dragons, but uh, let's see. This here was actually printed with a .8 nozzle. And I know that's going to be shocking, but you can actually see the knitted pattern
Huh.
as you expand it on my knitted dragon. A
Oh, that's
lot of
good. What was that
people,
in a coil?
huh? Yeah, the coiled print. But a lot of people, you can't blow the files up like that, and but ours you can, and they're higher detail. But we
Mm,
also try to make them where they're fast printing because again, we make money. We want to pop them off the printer and go to the next job. So this
yeah.
comes off just like this. I could shrink it down. We've got them down to earring size. We do modify them a lot of times because the joints aren't. You shrink them enough, they get weak. But we'll do. Let's see if I can find a set of earrings. Um, all the way down to earrings. Let's see. I can't find it here, but we've got everything to where we got size. I'm one of the only, we're one of the only designers that actually go out and sell that I know of. They'll go out and sell everything, but we'll actually get the knitted pattern all the way smaller than that. That's the same pattern, but it takes a little bit extra work to get them to size though, and the files are huge. I get that,
Yeah.
but look at
Yeah,
what you get.
I know. I remember being quite shocked when I downloaded one of your files.
Yeah, we're among the more detailed ones out there, especially for fidget toys, for the size of what we do. I mean, that's just, but you know, we don't want to be like everybody. Our joints are also a little bit more heavy because of the fact that they're stronger. I don't know if you can actually zoom in enough to show that, but our joints are organic. They're not just loops.
Mm.
Each one's built to where it's actually built to withstand stuff, where you can actually try to pull on these. Because I can put into a TLA design, and you'll struggle to pull it apart. Because we have the stronger joints in those, which also adds to the heavy file. Because you have to actually build it up where it's a full organic file and stretched out to get the strength more. But
I will inspect your joints later on. That'll be interesting.
there are a lot more. They're a lot heavier, but they're stronger than what most people are putting out. Um, it's our standards. So if you take most of the little fidget toys, keychains, and try to blow it up that big, it wouldn't. I don't think most of them would look. Because that is actually literally that file.
Yeah.
Blew it up a few 100%. I think it's like 250% or something like that for that. I just grabbed what I have. We've blown them up bigger. I've taken them all the way to the size of it. I think it's the show. I had a couple 100% eagle, bald eagle. It was quite nice. Um, I don't shrink my novel anymore. Like this is a .4 novel.
Yeah.
We don't put .2s on them anymore because that's
Oh,
just too much work.
not on something that big.
Well, I'm talking about even on our earring.
Oh, well, yeah.
Nothing like
when you're giving things to download, they got to work on .4.
I mean, like this frog here is a .4 novel.
Yeah, it's still good. Yeah, no, I don't like everything I sell has to be a .4. I just won't otherwise. Not a chance.
Right. Yeah, it's not only just standards. We could shrink our stuff. We could just put the same head on the same body and put it about 3 times the amount of work, but I wouldn't be proud to sell it. So, it is what it is. I'm going to switch to the screen. We are going to look at a item I got. TechKeeper has said that he sent it to me, so I might as well. I can actually claim the truth on this one and let him get credit.
You can whack me into the corner.
Go. That way you're on bottom. I'm there. This is the Creality. I think it's what they're calling this. But I think it's a lizard for some reason. This will actually attach to the phone. Huh?
Is that a new one? Lizard.
It's not brand new. I think they're still selling it. It is a brand new scanner. Yes.
I haven't heard of that one.
This one actually next to your phone via this wireless bridge. I have tried it. So this will actually connect to my cell phone. and I'll be able to scan and upload the file to my computer. So that's I've not had a chance to upload a file. I will be doing it later.
It's cool that it can use a phone because it's either connected to a computer, or you buy one that's basically an Android phone attached. Or yeah, you might as well just use your phone if that's what
And
you
from
have.
what I understand, I have not had a chance to do it. It looks like it will connect wirelessly to the computer, and just use this as a handheld unit
Oh,
with the
okay.
wireless. Again, I have not attempted it, but this will actually connect just like this. I'll put my phone on the back, but I'm not planning on using it tonight. I'm not going to stay on too much longer. You're falling asleep anyway, right? But this will actually work like this, and I can go out and scan an item. We have some of this spray, which I'm going to test. Probably gonna be a couple weeks. Because you have a show next, not this weekend, but the following weekend that we're preparing for, and then we'll test the spray. I believe this will be similar to dry shampoo, but we'll again
Yeah,
test this with dry shampoo.
yeah. I can't remember. I feel like I've watched some YouTube videos where they compare all the different sprays, and it's probably worth watching one of them. So yeah, because you can use there's chalks, there's dry shampoo, there's talcum powder, and I can't remember what's good or bad. But yeah, for like
think it depends
car
on the scanner.
parts.
This is 0.2 millimeters, I think. I've seen people say 0.1, but I thought the spec said 0.2. It does have the dots as an option, and it's got cables in here
Ah, yes,
for different versions
the
of it.
bots.
But it also has little dots that both work with it. I have not tested.
Yeah,
We will be scanning. I don't know what I'm going to scan first, but I will be scanning something. Probably even scanning something at the show, more than likely. And I'm going to attempt to scan a whole car. I don't know if it's possible. To scan it and
what's
stuff.
so hard is getting in all to the nooks and crannies.
Yeah, I know, but it's still I've got a purpose. Uh, not a file I want to share yet, but if I can make it work, it would be a fun project. We have some large stuff we're going to shrink down and make 3D files for that I wouldn't call them IP because the design would be open source now anyway. We're looking at stuff from the 1920s and 30s, so it's not
Yeah,
really IP anymore.
no,
But
not anymore.
we're going to try to be inspired heavily by the we scan, so we can get accurate enough that we're going to do. I am going to try to make everything we release sellable. I'm not going to be doing any Deadpool stuff or anything like that. Sticking
No,
away from that.
no, it's not worth
Uh,
it.
yeah, it's not worth it to the end user. I don't like telling somebody to do something to get them in trouble or could get them in trouble. Because if
Yeah,
I ever cost
yeah,
somebody that kind of money, I would never live with myself. But we have some ideas that are legal that we can scan, and they won't be an exact copy, but I'd like to be heavy enough that because it's inspired, I'm not going to lie about it. To scan the item and use that as a backdrop. We don't use AI in our generation,
no,
so
no, it wouldn't get the joints right. Like you have them just how you like it, and it would come up with some random thing.
well, we don't use AI even for like the faces or anything like that.
Oh yeah,
Well, for one thing, we have to get when you're making something like this fidget here, which I just want at random. To get the printability, you have to actually think about every aspect of it to get because you can't use supports on a fidget, not really, or you shouldn't use supports on a fidget if you can avoid it. Uh, you know,
no, that's the
I think
trick.
have to when I blow it up sometimes like this because we didn't calculate
Yeah.
for this.
No, you didn't plan for that either
It
way.
was designed for that. But you know, you know, we basically will try for some of that. But I've got like my soda machine that we're going to restore. I got a early 1940 soda machine. I'm going to scan it and put that a file that's based upon that on the internet for people to download from our membership. I've got a paint shaker that's back there. I'm going to scan it. I'm going to make a file that's very inspired by that.
Yeah.
So as we do a machine restoration, I'm going to try to release a file, or if nothing else, the scanned model of it, so where people can have a model when we're done.
Yeah.
Um, so
Yeah, it's good fun. I went through a phase of scanning things. I don't know, about, oh God, was that like 2 years ago? I scanned a bunch of things. Yeah, it was quite fun. I did bricks. I did like some barrels and stuff. Yeah, that I found this really cool crumpled barrel. That I think it's on my fangs. It's, yeah, that was cool to scan for like terrain or something like Warhammer. Um,
I know there's an artist
yeah,
that does nothing but scan like things that he sees and he uploads it on one of the file store sites, and he does quite well. He's a popular designer, but that's primarily what he does is scan. I don't want to
mm,
go to that level. The
no,
scan stuff's probably gonna be mine, not my wife's. I don't see her doing this stuff, but it's going to be like guards. What I wanted it for was guards. I want to make the guards fit like they were designed on the machine. So I need the organic shapes instead of printing 50 different things trying to get the shape right to match. I want the
yeah.
guards to match. So I need to start with I'm still going to print 50 or 60 different versions of it to get it perfect, but we would like to have it match. That's actually
it
what
would
it's for.
it would reduce a couple attempts.
Yes, because you're trying to match 5 or 6 curves on the item. Um, Yeah, he can. Of course, he can join anytime. Would you like to join as well, Fezley? Are you trying to tell me to let him go to sleep? Uh, I was going to look for a raid out because I think you're tired and I wasn't intending to stream till 8:30 myself. But let's see who's even on.
Who is on? Uh,
So we are going to stream over to, I guess, Shenanigans. He is on.
he's
Wait, no.
asleep.
Okay, let's go to Static Hive. I don't know if you've ever seen her or not. She is a 3D printer, and wait, no, she's offline. I'm trying to find somebody actually doing something here. Okay, we are going to Cyber Duels. She's modeling. Everybody
Well,
here?
yeah. Thanks for having me. Yeah, probably if yeah. When do you do your normal call? I can't remember. Is it on a Saturday?
Sunday nights is when I do my normal
Sunday.
streams.
Okay.
This
Well,
is
um,
set for
I'll,
you.
I'm I won't be able to make that one. I'm going camping with some people I met at EMF.
I get it. And I don't expect anybody to drop everything, obviously, for my stream. But you are welcome anytime on a Sunday night. I was trying to pick a middle of the week, but I'm not sure Wednesday is going to be it because I don't really want to try to compete with Polymaker for obvious
Mm.
reasons. Maybe a later stream. We're looking for a new night to add, but Sunday nights is when I've been doing the streams for myself. Not this weekend. I will be on this weekend, but the following weekend we will be at a show, and that is going to wipe out the entire weekend. We will try to stream at the show, but with 4,000 people plus in a small little area, cell phones don't always work. Not in the United States, or not might.
Yeah, probably do well.
Uh,
Are you going to bring some of those big ones as well? I think they do.
If I had a satellite, it would do it, but otherwise I would stream and walk around and show the cars because it's
Mm.
kind of cool to see all the 1940s and earlier cars.
Mm.
It's the largest
Oh, yeah, that type.
pre-1948 car show in the world, so it would be kind of cool to walk around. But yeah, I'll try to film some of it and do some show, but I don't know if I'm going to stream Sunday night. But after that, I'll be back on Sunday nights, and you're welcome anytime.
Yeah, it might be in just 3 weeks, but yeah, I definitely will if I'm free. Cool.
Anybody is welcome as long as I know who they are, because I don't want to blow my screen. You know,
Yeah, I remember the first time I went on the Jerry show, he interrogated me behind the scenes to find out if I'm a weirdo or not.
my theory right now is if somebody can vouch that I can trust.
Yeah,
Like he came in,
he
he said, "Oh,
didn't
this guy's cool." Okay, you know.
he didn't immediately trust me because I didn't have 3D printers behind me, which
Mhm.
everyone normally does on stream, but I have them in a separate room, so I'm the odd one out.
Yeah, I've never actually had 3D printers behind me. He actually has let me on, but I've been a mod for him for a long time.
Yeah, well, yeah, I haven't been doing the circuit for terribly long.
I met Jerry when Thangs gave me a printer. Realistically, I went in his stream because he said he had a printer that we had won. I uploaded a file for that I wanted to make the thing because my printer wasn't big enough, and that was the very first time I went into 3D printing stream with Jerry's. And then
Cool.
Sandy won a printer. My wife won a printer from me in that stream.
What was that, like 3-4 years ago?
It was old enough it would have been an Ender 3, and it's still classified as a good printer. So we're talking older than that. But yeah, it was right when he started, I think. Maybe really picking up. But yeah,
Yeah.
after that he basically let me mod for him, and anytime I've been in there, I've been welcome.
You need to pop on sometime. He's been disappointed in how few people have been showing up the past couple weeks.
I know he's just always streaming when I'm working, and that's why I kind of quit. I need to get back into Jerry's, but
yeah,
I know I don't show what I do on stream, because I fix things. And that's not very interesting. I know it to some people.
I think it's interesting. I think I've been watching Alex Steele the past few couple weeks, and he's been restoring this power hammer, and that's been great to watch. Yeah, restoring and like fixing stuff. Yeah, it's a good watch.
The
People
problem
would
is most of the time I'm fixing things like outdoor power equipment or things, and what I found is people don't want to see it done right; they want to see it done cheap. The two don't always go together. So I've always avoided streaming that stuff. I had a tool channel for a while, but I'm a torque Nazi, where I torque everything that has a gasket. I'm and there's a reason for that mechanically. I'm a stickler about things that people don't want to see. So my videos never did well mechanic on fixing things. Um, I've always avoided that one. Maybe in the makerspace when I'm not making a living at it and I'm not trying to do a customer thing. Also, it's very difficult to screen your customer's product. Much better if you own
Yeah. Oh yeah.
you're screening
Yeah.
in advance. So that's always been also the issue. I did it for hire for people. But fixing my stuff is fine. But if I'm showing something I don't own on camera, I can make somebody mad. You know, I, yeah, you avoided that for the most part. But anyway, I'm going to raid Cyber Jules. If anybody in here is
Of
here,
course.
please come up and say hi. She is a designer. Um, don't know her super well, but she's always been friendly to me. So, when I've hung out there, she is I believe she does fusion for some reason. Yeah, she's a designer, maker, does goes to a few of the shows. I think she might be going to Protopia. But stop in, say hi, um, and give her a follow. Thank you everybody for joining, and hopefully I'll see you again.
Thank you.
And again, I will be adding your link to YouTube. That one will stay up.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Okay, raid is gone. So, that